the trouble with love is. What the trouble with love is. What the trouble with love is.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. Hope you boys are having a wonderful, beautiful day. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back, boys. Welcome back. Hope all of y'all are having a wonderful, beautiful evening and or afternoon. And I swear to God, I had this thing curling properly earlier, but now it doesn't really want to do it. That's as good as it's gonna get. I really need to put in mustache packs next time. How you boys all doing? Welcome back, welcome back. We got more 5V5 1v1s for the day, boys. We got more 5v5s, yo, boys. Hope all of y'all having a good one. Let me get the music back up and running. How are all you doing? Who do we got in chat? We got ourselves Chris, Zachary Boytub, Belisarius. We got ourselves Kiwi, Rava, Future Synth. We got ourselves Jims. How you doing, my man? Hope you boys are having a good one. Friday for the boys, man. The EU boys. Hope all of y'all are ready, man. What is this? Thank you for becoming one in the sense. What? Huh? What is this? You tuned in. Thank you. Because if no one watching, this would make zero. What? Is Twitch doing like some kind of Twitch stats? Worthworth linked me a picture on Discord. Oh, I guess he posted in Discord. Is that like Twitch doing Twitch stats or something? Thank you, because if no one's watching, this site makes zero sense. What? What is the point of this? Twitch. Twitch, everybody just wants you to add a good PogChamp, but that's all they want out of you. They don't give a shit about your Twitch stats. Oh my goodness, Twitch. What are they doing over there, dude? Imagine if you were streaming on Twitch, dude. Haha. I just feel like I'd be criticizing him every day. That's just not a thing I want to do, man. Yo, boys, how you doing? Prepared fighter, let's go. What's up, Jacko? What's up, Nigel? How you boys all doing? Welcome back, welcome back. Free PogChamp. At least, okay, they don't want the dude's face. Add a good PogChamp. Okay, because somebody made a good point over on Twitch. I think it was Shroud or one of those guys, one of the biggest streamers. They said every time Twitch makes a bad PogChamp, because they're cycling them out, every time it's a bad one, it just makes the PogChamp face like a lot less exciting. Every time it's just, it doesn't have the spirit of Pog. This week, today, they have Crip. Remember the Hearthstone guy, Crip? He made a really good Pog. Like, it's in the spirit of Pog. And it's like, that's so good. But if the next one sucks, people are just gonna like it less and less. And they might as well just remove the emote at that point. Like, just add a good PogChamp and move on. Because I feel like what they're... I don't know, dude. I'm gonna stop. It's not a Twitch stream today. It's a 5V5 1v1 Duels stream today. Although, rest in peace, Pog. You will be remembered. Boys, it is time for the EU Duels on 5V5 1v1. I want the best Mage Oblivion action. We got the Oblivion EU and Obliterate over on NA. Either one works, my guy. If you go human, do you go for Relentless Trinket? I think so, yeah. Most humans play Relentless nowadays. What alliance or sub-rogue would you go for? PvP, of course. What race force alliance? Human is probably pretty good. Night Elf for the quick re-stealth is also really good. Just because you have 100% crit Lego. So quick re-stealth for 100% crit Lego makes sense, right? More re-stealths. But you probably could play others too. But I think human and Night Elf are looking like top tier. You know what I mean? Hey, Dal, happy Friday. What's up, Tard? Happy Friday to you too, my man. Hope you're having a good one. All to you, Dal. What's up, sir? My doing, man? How you doing, my dude? Hope you are having a good one, my boy. Hey, guys. What's up, Blue? How you doing, my man? Hope you're having a good one, my dude. The big old O on there in the icon. What's up, Ricky? How you doing, my guy? 5V5 1V1 Duels are up, boys. Yo, anybody got groups over on the EU? Trying to make some groups right now, dude. First come, first serve in the DMs. Lord with a group. Already, we got Oblivion here, boys. Already. Also, we got a really cool new WoW UI. I don't think we're gonna see it today, right? I don't think we're gonna see it today. However, where is it? Blizzard UI thing for duels. Where is it? It's on Twitter. God, there's so much garbage on Twitter. Holy shit, I'm just scrolling. Dude, I gotta unfollow a bunch of people. Okay, here it is. Here it is. That's all I wanted to see. It's a damn picture. I just wanted to see a picture. That's all I wanted to do. Yo, look at that UI. This is apparently what they have in an AWC, man. This is a UI for AWC. These Covenant bike buttons right here. That looks so good. I would love this too right here, but I think that's an extra add-on you gotta do, basically. I think it's an add-on you gotta do in order to implement this. At least that's what I think it is, because basically this icon down here with the health bar, and then what abilities they're using and the buffs that they have. This would be really cool to have. I don't know if we can do it, but seeing Covenants will be cool as hell. Let's see if this week's we actually have the new updated version. Proxy also got a group in here. 3 out of 5. Okay, Cat got 5, man. We got Cat in here versus Lord as the first duel of the year. Actually, not really. For how many? I still think of it as like, dude, Happy New Year, everybody. I still want to tell people Happy New Year, even though I know I shouldn't. Like the whole New Year thing has already gone and passed. But sometimes I feel like I still need to tell people Happy New Year, everybody. It still feels like the start of 2021, dude. Over and over and over and over. Nearly ready? Alright, Shadow, we'll throw you against Proxy, I think. We're gonna try to get Lord and Kachik as first up for the day, boyos. Let me get the music back up and running here, too. Yeah, I got some really good mixes in here, dude. That's a really good song. I like this. I don't know if I wanted to put duels, but I like it. I can appreciate. Yeah, we're not getting the Covenant thing. Maybe next week we'll get the Covenant things. But that looks so clean, dude. If we could get that in duels, dude. If we could get in duels, dude. You know what I mean? Alrighty. We got ourselves. Switch. What do we got today? We got ourselves Team 2 with Kachikan. Oh, my man. Look at like the good old Legion Cat. I like the thing you did with your hair. It's really hard to tell, but there is something different there. We also got ourselves Omega as a Feral with Archeorc as a Fire Mage with Unstoppable. Playing that Elemental with in the bag Pure Haze with them big old daggers from the Night Fae. They look kind of cool as a sub-rogue. Versus Team 1, we have ourselves Kreiser in here with Obliv chilling on his mount. We got ourselves also Kisha Met. We got ourselves in the back a Shadow Priest Kravika with a Hunter Bombaras Adrenai. General Hunters, you don't see a lot of them, but they look kind of cool. Playing what more looks like Marksman, gonna be Kreiser first up on his Maw mount. I still need to go and get my Maw mount at some point. I think I'm gonna do it this week, boys. I think I'm gonna do it this week. I've been kind of recording most of my Maw mount stuff run. Is this Haze, by the way? Is this Hazed? Is this Haze? I think this is Haze, the Demon Hunter from before. Kreiser get a lockdown by the Rogue. Is gonna go for a port. Maybe looking at a gateway as the Rogue got himself cooldowns rolling with Shadowblade Smoke Bomb coming up. Looks like he's not gonna catch a re-stealth. I think it's gonna be a stun into the smoke. With dots already rolling, Haze is gonna have a hard time resetting. Is gonna be advantage for that reset. Dots are ticking down. He does get a shield when he catches stealth. However, I feel like those dots are going to tick down on him for a while. They are going to be ticking and might actually tick through the shield. But maybe Haze has himself a bit of a self-heal. Waiting out for the dots. Looks like they do tick him out of stealth before he gets the proper opener. Kreiser going to lock down in the stun. At least lands a corruption or something onto Haze. As he decides straight some dots going to be port. As Kreiser does take a bit of damage from pure Haze. Is looking to sneak in some dots here and there. Mortal Coil again thrown out as Haze does go for a blind. Looking like that's going to be a reset for the Rogue either way. Ticking down on them, bleeds quite a bit though, the shield. Holding strong while in stealth, but it is going to poke him out of stealth from time to time. He better catch a couple re-stealths in order to at least accumulate all the dot damage into the shield instead. I feel like catching more restalls is going to help him out. Looks like the dots are worn off for the most part. Chrysler picking up the eye, going for a tiger's eye here. Trying to see if he can find the rogue, getting hit with a sap. And Chrysler, I believe, might not have the human racial available here. It's hard to track that one without these bars. But not playing a PvP trinket by any measure. Not even a relentless is going to get a port as Hayes goes in for some big damage in the opener. And Chrysler looking to get some dots and even to drain life off of the rogue. Going for a little bit of a pokey strat. But Hayes so far has had an advantage here, the dominance. Chrysler so far has been able to get a couple dots, but Hayes with them resets so far is really clean about it. So he's in a bit of an advantage. Chrysler is good. It hasn't even got to use his cooldowns yet. There is no chicken on the rogue, so Chrysler needs to get some kind of a mortal coil into a fear slam onto Hayes, and then get him loaded up with dots, get a cloak of shadows out of him. Mortal coil, get it thrown out. As a kidney shot comes out, denied the rogue the 100% crit opener. The rogue is still gonna try to make the damage happen through the kidney shot, going for some big damage with the shadow strikes either way. Doesn't need a 100% crit. Looks like he just got a crit on his own baseline. Chrysler is gonna go for a gateway. Hayes does cloak of shadows, and that's his defensive gone. Chrysler might be able to punish him. As long as you can push it onto the rogue and keep him dotted up, you will be able to punish him. Going for that stunner on the corner. Hayes does dive into stealth. Looks like he's actually staying in stealth thanks to the shield. The shield is just huge for rogues right now. Absolutely massive as we're diving into a 3-minute game here. Guys, I haven't been able to punish the rogue too hard so far. Let me get a sip of water real quick, boys. That's good. Sap at the Chrysler. Hayes is waiting out for a little bit. Maybe he's just waiting out for some of the dots. He's waiting for something. Cold blood in hand. Ready to go in your time. Can Chrysler answer this? Does he have a human racial backup? I think by now he should. Get a shot. It's going to be a human racial chicken. Chicken coming out 4 phase right now as well. And Chrysler getting some dots up and running onto Hayes. As dots available with the slow. Big damage out of Hayes though. Chrysler not looking that good. Going for the big Hayes buff after getting the fear. Wall, it's a massive drain. Life to catch up on that health. Doing a bit of damage back to the rogue too. Does he go for Darkglare? He could actually go for Darkglare. Extend those dots to Hayes. Does land a stun on Hayes around the corner. Does he catch the restart? Looks like the Warlock is on top of him. Getting those dots back up and rolling. Hayes does go for the big sippy cup with the Kyrian. Does he go for the healing over time with the sippy cup? Does not look like he does. Maybe he would have to sacrifice way too much aggressive power or offensive power with that. Kidney shot onto Chrysler, trying to make some damage happen. Chrysler taking a bit of a beating. Kidney shot into a cheap shot. Kind of low in health. Does go for the Kyrian. Does he go for a Kyrian? No, he does not go for a Kyrian setup. Somebody healed him just now. I'm pretty sure maybe it was a Warlock Hellstone. Soul Rock coming out, trying not to get kicked by Hayes. Hayes knows not to kick the nature. Get it, interrupt, juked on Shadow. And that's going to be Hayes, unable to do much here. The dots are rotting him down. The Darkglare did quite a bit of damage. Goes for a cheap shot onto the Darkglare. But Chrysler is still alive and kicking. Had to wait out the rogue. Played the long game, but looks like the corruption, agony, as well as unstable affliction. I might have not been able to get a proper unstable affliction for this duel though. But a lot of that damage was able to do quite a bit with it. That's going to be drain life for Chrysler. Catching up on heals. Unstoppable goes in for a lasso, but that's going to be a lasso break due to range. Thanks to the gateway, Chrysler almost planning that setup. Getting the dots on Unstoppable. That's going to be more kiting out of Warlock. With so much mobility Warlocks have, especially being Night Fade, the port ability with the soul shape. You also got the port, the normal lock gateway, but also you got the Warlock portal. That's just so much mobility on top of the permanent, almost permanent corruption, adding a 50-60% slow rather to enemies. This gives the Warlock so much ability, but Unstoppable might just have him here with a lasso, setting up a big old zaps and taking him out. Looks like Chrysler just didn't have a lot of defenses available towards the tail end of that duel, with Kamijit going up next as an arms warrior, trinketing out of that setup for Unstoppable. Goes in for an interrupt on that Hex with a Blaze Storm to follow. Unstoppable just goes in for a bit of a self-heal himself, trying to get those insta-casts rolling onto Kamijit. That's a free Lava Burst. Did not go for Lava Burst instead. Tried to go for a knockback, but didn't really work out against Kaja. Avatar is available. Unstoppable just has to wait until the next lasso is available to peel this warrior off of him. Although the self-heals coming out for Unstoppable are quite huge. Could go for a big meaty Lava Burst setup. Does go for a big Lava Burst into Kaja. Not a lot of health available. Trying to go for every defensive trinket. That's going to be lasso. And even if he doesn't recover health here, he is going to be down to literally 1 health because of Rallying Cry. Once that falls off, it's not going to be good for him. Unstoppable just sees a couple more globals and the instant cast and the massive setup with a lava burst was just huge turnaround for the Shaman. Kravika is going to be... Kravika, my bad, is going to be up next as a Shadow Priest caster versus caster, giving Unstoppable a little bit of an honor duel here, letting him at least recover on health before he dives in on him as a massive big brain Shadow Priest. Most likely play in the Venthyr, right? I'll be surprised if there was a Shadow Priest that wasn't Venthyr. Is going to be able to get the dots Unstoppable in the opener. Probably with the TP of that. Unstoppable at least does some with the Moldrax's shield, giving him a little bit of tankiness in the opener. Void Eruption with Mind Games coming out. Kravik can get a hit with Lexip. That's actually not Lexip. What am I talking about? Lasso. Might as well be a ranged Lexip with a bit of damage. Interrupt him on a self-heal. Kravik not a lot really left in terms of defense. So might have to go for a big self-heal play. Trying to still make the Mind Games work. Disperse coming out as it dips super low. Unstoppable going in for a Hex just to get more CC onto the Shadow Priest, denying him any self-heals behind the pillar. If he can catch up to him and keep forcing pressure on the guy, might be in a good spot. Big haste available for Kravika though, although eats a meteor, and that's going to be Lasso on the other side. Oh, that PI haste doesn't really help you. Big Earthshock to follow, trying to end him with some Frost Shocks. Has to go for a Lava Burst. Kravika's still alive for now though. VT getting set up, but that's going to be a grounding totem, stopping any kind of CC to follow up by the Shadow Priest onto Unstoppable. Taking him out one after another with Bumbara, the Marksman Hunter Draenei, going to be up next into this duel. As Unstoppable looking unstoppable so far, does deny the aim shot. I don't think he really realized that he was getting aim shotted on him. It looks like the aim shot does connect. Bumbara didn't have any kind of double tap, any kind of wombo combo damage in it either. Drinking coming out of the lassos. Bumbara backpedaling a little bit, knocking back Unstoppable for a second. I think he knocked him into an explosive trap that's supposed to knock him off. Looks like maybe overlap the knocks a little. Big Stormkeeper coming out. Needs just one more blast of the lightning bolt. Bumbara not in a good spot. Just Frost Shocks is all Unstoppable does land himself acceleration, but Bumbara is out of defensive zone with a couple lava bursts. Unstoppable just dominating the show here as an Elemental Shaman with a Doomhammer at his side. How Elemental Shaman should have been from the beginning, in my opinion. Obliv is the last one left on Team 1. Fire Mage with the Absorb Lego versus Unstoppable. Actually, that's another good question. Speaking about legendaries, what legendary does Unstoppable run as Elemental Shaman for PvP? Which legendaries do Shamis run? Do they do the same thing that Chicago does with the Earthshell Lego, so you get a lot of self-heals? Interesting. I do wonder, boys, what do you run after this duel? Let me guys know. If Shaman can let me know, that'd be great. I have a couple of you guys out in reality. Gonna be a G-Pie into Unstoppable's face. Trinkets into an interrupt. Obliv actually tried to go for a Kyrian setup. Looks like not going to be able to do so. Trying to land a Ring of Frost. Does get it. It's going to be DR though. Unstoppable might be able to get a... I was going to say maybe a grounding in there, but looks like not happening. Images available for Obliv. Unstoppable going in for a setup. Radiant Spark coming out for Obliv. Trying to go for a big combustion setup. Does the Meteor connect? The Meteor was not the fourth spell in that rotation for the Kyrian. Didn't do the most amount of damage there. And Unstoppable under quite a lot of pressure. Images on one side slowing him down. Mage with plenty of damage on the other. Does get himself a massive heal into a Hex onto Obliv. Does play Relentless, so he's not going to be able to get out of this Hex quite easily. I don't know if he has a human racial yet or not. Might have already trinketed. It's so hard to tell with this UI. Hopefully Blizzard maybe adds the human racial aspect to it. Or side racials like undead and such. I'd love to see that kind of thing. Gonna be Unstoppable, just get himself quite a few damage into an interrupted Obliv on Frost. Obliv sitting behind the pillar, no worth. Just sitting in front of Unstoppable, just getting tagged. And Unstoppable needs to get his pet to attack Obliv. There's going to be a free zone to Unstoppable, as well as the pet with a freebie G-Pie for Obliv. Does he have the G-Pie to follow? Radiant Spark is coming out. Does he line up the proper Radiant Spark? Probably Meteor trying to be the fourth spell of Radiant. If you get the fourth spell of a Radiant Spark after using it, does 40% more damage. So first spell 10%, second 20, so on. Fourth spell does 40% more, and if it's the Meteor, that's what the Fire Mages really want. Big Lava Burst coming out. Is looking like Unstoppable does also play with the Fire Affinity, just like Obliv does. It's going to be interrupt on Unstoppable on Nature. Continue to dish out the Lava Burst back to Obliv, though, while he doesn't have any of those shields. It's going to swap out the Earth Elemental. Trying to land a Hex on Obliv. Does land the Hex. And Unstoppable does pull out the big guns, the big defense of the Earth Elemental into a Spirit Walker's Grace, so you can run while casting, trying to get big zaps to Obliv, and needs to go dispelling all those shields ASAP from Obliv as fast as possible. Those shields are going to be huge for him. 11 minutes into his duel, 39% dampener into a poly onto unstoppable. Does he have another stun by the earth elemental? Trinkets into an interrupt. Gonna be a polymorph by Obliv. Doesn't quite land it. Unstoppable needs himself big lava burst setup. Has massive setup of lava burst available into lasso to Obliv. Does go for an ice block. Interrupting unstoppable on the cast. Trying to land a radiant spark. Combustion available back up. Does he land the meteor? Meteor does not connect, but still quite a lot of damage. So unstoppable is under a lot of pressure right now. Wall available back up if he needs it to. That's going to be a short stun onto Obliv from the Earth Elemental. Looks like the Earth Elemental should be fading away very, very soon. And Unstoppable does not have the Earth Elemental wall anymore. At least got to use it while he had it. Breath Unstoppable, try to get the Lava Burst to melt the Ring of Frost. Does not get it. Obliv does get himself shield right as the Lava Burst is about to connect. G-Pie coming out. Big damage onto Unstoppable. Does Obliv have enough to finish him here? Unstoppable does have a wall. Try to get himself a heal. Lightning Lasso onto Obliv instead. Blinks out of it. Does he have an interrupt? He does not have an interrupt. Unstoppable actually is free to cast in his face. Breath and a Radiant Spark still trying to pressure him with damage alone as the healing surges are flying for Unstoppable. Looks like he's going to be pretty healthy. Eats a meteor. His health doesn't even budge one bit. So far, this man is just the tankiest guy I've ever seen. Although Obliv continuing the pressure, continuing the fireballs. Big meteor back to Obliv. Unstoppable looked at the meteor and was like, you know what, I got one better. Summoning the fire elemental, element literally made of fire. Like a lasso, denying the breath. Obliv is super low. Actually might be in trouble here. Maybe Unstoppable turning around. Cauterize coming out for Obliv is actually under a lot of pressure. Does himself a little bit of health. The shields are melting through the cauterize, as he just doesn't really have a lot defensively here. Root onto Unstoppable. Can Obliv somehow turn around? Needs to go for first aid or anything. Maybe even food. 50% dampener. A lot of the healing you get is not going to be all that strong right now, even the food. And that's going to be fire elemental burning through those shields very, very easily. And Obliv tried to play a ring around the posy around with Unstoppable. Does get out. I think it might have been the human racial out of that lasso. Intro poly. Trying to repoly him and get Unstoppable. Does go for a trick, and Obliv needs to run right now. Needs to run and get himself a little bit of food, because he's in a really dire situation. Unstoppable making sure he's walking in there with the Earth Shield and everything. Now it's his time to pressure Obliv. Obliv still has damage available though. He might be able to maybe have an all-in with Unstoppable. No chicken available for Unstoppable. As long as Obliv doesn't get caught with a lasso and the big zaps and maybe a lava burst setup, he'll be in a good spot. Does have images to give himself a bit of defensive. Ring of Frost coming out. Does he have the G-Pie to follow? He might actually be able to do it here. If he pulls off this G-Pie with a big combustion, he might just have it. Unstoppable is going to get smacked for a ton of damage right now. Does he have grounding? He does have grounding. That's going to be big. Oh, there's just so much damage going on. My mind is just racing. I literally can't commentate this, but Obliv does land the Pyroblast in there either way, with Arior coming out with a combustion. Just blasted out combustion onto Obliv. Obliv stealing his combustion back. And that's going to be Ari still putting pressure onto Obliv. I literally got tongue-tied at the end there. That was just so much stuff going on at the same time. My mind was racing. But I guess that's what is going to happen. The first duel of the day, dude. I got to get back into it. You know what I mean? I got to get back into swing of things. You know what I mean? Obliv does get himself an invis. Going for a little bit of food. Does he go for another kill? Maybe if he says up for a little bit of burst with Arhi, or he might be able to Kyrian swap burst down Arhi. But Arhi is on his tail. Out of the invis. Into a breath. Obliv goes for a setup with the poly. Arhi could have actually interrupted that. But I guess he didn't expect for the breath to break as early as it did. G-Pie coming out for Obliv. It's a Fire Blast to Arhi. It looks like it's meeting him with a Meteor, but they're just going to leave him with a Meteor. Continuing to run, continuing to go for a reset. Arhi is getting his shields back up. CDR is coming back in. Alter time coming out for Obliv. Does Arhi steal the alter time? I don't think he was able to. I think Obliv still gets alter time. He does. That's going to be a lot of health coming back. Arhi and Obliv's health are actually very similar to one another. Does go for a breath from the Ring of Frost. Looks like he denies the other guy the Ring of Frost. Checks a Pyroblast while Arhi does not have a shield. And both of the mages are under a ton of stress. Obliv does at least have some heals. Going for first aids while possible. Arhi making sure to punish him with some Pyroblast. Breath onto Arhi does almost get the Kyrian set up. And needs himself shields immediately. Does get the shields. Arhi looking for that mobility as the soul shape. Doesn't have a shield right now. Meteor crashes him on the side. Arhi actually might be in a bad spot. That's going to be cauterized with an ice block coming out. Does gain healing from the ice block. And Obliv is yet to use his ice block. Archie blinking towards Obliv, gets hit with a breath instead though, and that's his shield burned through pretty quickly. Obliv still holding onto an ice block if needed. Breath onto Obliv, does go for an ice block. Archie, does he melt to the mastery? He does melt to the mastery, and that's going to be the pod where Obliv goes in for a massive combustion. I think he honestly might need combustion just to kill the pod. He's actually struggling to kill the pod. Archie almost escapes out of there. Obliv does end up taking Archie instead out, with Kachikan standing next to Obliv. Gonna go for that honorable duel as we're at that 16-minute duel. 70. What? Never mind. Kachikan just going for that execute instead. I thought he was gonna give him an honor duel. It is a mage. He would actually been able to recover quite a bit, but Kreiser, but God, I'm so bad with names, dude. Kachikan goes in for the massive execute as the vent through. I do like that. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Knock out a few of them. I think Obliv did really good. I mean, he had to go from a shaman, which was just blasting through the enemy team quite heavily, from one to the next, you know what I mean? That's a rough one, dude. That's a rough game sometimes. Nice and done by everybody, though. Sparta got a group. Let's go, boys. Sparta got a group, and I think we have Shadow or Proxy. Proxy got a group. Okay, EUSL, what are we at? 41, 42, 47. Wow, EU, you guys have a lot of deals this week. They give him the honorability he's deserved. Fair enough, fair enough. We got to get Kachikan in, maybe against Shadow, because Kachikan's team didn't really get to play much. So Kachikan, be on the standby, my gun. But having such reasons, such deep dampening would have been a waste of time. Fair enough. Yeah, 5v5 1v1 duels. You guys can show each other honor duel, but you don't have to. As soon as the person on your team is dead and you were next, it's time to go. You know what I mean? I do like watching you guys give each other honor duels, because you never know how things turn out whenever that happens. Maybe the person you give an honorable duel wins it. Maybe you defeat them. Stuff like that is really, really cool. But it's up to you guys. If you technically, there's no rule on that of the honor duel. If it's your turn, you feel like in the line and the guy in front of you just died, it's your go. Do whatever. You're dueling, fighting tooth and nail there. You know what I mean? Alrighty, boys. Let me get another one up and running and get a sip of water, because my throat is dry, dude. My throat is so dry. Oh my god. What's up, Yuzuki? Remember the Rogue versus Druid last one? Last duel yesterday, man? Or last week, I guess? We do a lot of duels. Which duel in particular? No, the channel, brother. You're awesome. Some content. Thanks so much, Kali. Appreciate you. Warrior duels. We'll probably get some warriors in here. We got Rage in here. We're good, boys. Twitch. We got ourselves Team 2 we got ourselves Proximal as an Arcane Mage by the looks of it, with Catalysator as a Boomy. We got ourselves Catalysator, sounds so familiar. Fruity Dad with that fire. And we even got an Outlook with Gems. Versus the other team, we got ourselves Rage. We got ourselves Vidima as a fire. We got ourselves Mufasa as a feral. I mean, of course, with a name like Mufasa. Oh, please bow to cat from unless you're doing, my man. Thank you so much, Zaire, as well as Sivguire? Sif? We'll call it Sif. Sif versus Catalyst. The Catalyst actually playing the Demonology. I was thinking for some reason Destruction. Ooh, that Scyther's Affliction looks so wicked though. And that's going to be Sif in kind of a tough spot right now. Playing the Frost DK, gripping in Catalyst with a Mortal Coil setting him in the other direction. Is trying to go for a bit of a fear. Stun coming out. Catalyst going in for a fear. Looks like Sif doesn't have Lichborn anymore. Actually, the DK is under a lot of pressure, and Catalyst should be able to land a stun with a Tyrant, as Sif does go for last Bastard defense with the Death Pact. But that's going to put him basically on a death's door. Lichborn available, doesn't really have a lot of self kills unless he has a lot of runic power, but not a lot he can really heal for right now. Actually might be able to go for a death strike or two. Death call. No, it looks like that is going to be the Warlock getting out of there while the pets are tearing up the DK. By the time he knew what was happening, it was over. Mufasa up next, getting an opener on another cat of his kind. As Catalyst goes in for a while, perfect opportunity for him to maybe get some CC onto the Feral Druid as he just getting shredded. Mufasa getting hit with a Mortal Call into a fear as Catalyst goes in for a nice Drain Light, but it's an opportunity for him to also get some pets up and running as well. Doesn't have the Gateway for a bit. Does he have the port back up? He does have the port back up, so should be able to get away from Mufasa before the damage ramps up so high. And Mufasa is actually under quite a lot of pressure with all those pets, but before Dampening rolls in, the healing for Feral is quite massive, as it's going to be Catalyst dropping down a bunch of curses onto Mufasa. Trying to see if he might be able to get a stun or maybe a fear. Bash coming up from Mufasa. Doesn't go for the big damage here. Catalyst is taking lots of bites back to back. The Warlock Hellstone does come in. And I think Mufasa just went for a shot him out for a second. Mufasa trinketed something. I'm not really sure what the trinket is. Stun to Mufasa. Does Catalyst have himself a setup? He does not have a go just yet. But at least he's trying to get some pets up and running. Another shot of Fury out of a stun. So raw to follow on to Mufasa as he goes in for a bear form with a frenzy regeneration. Trying to recover a little bit of health. Does still hold on to wall. I think might have used the bar just there too. As Catalyst is going to go for a bit of a port right now. Just messing around with Mufasa. The imps are doing a bit of damage to the Feral Druid. What happened to the pet from Catalyst? Oh wait, there he is. I thought he died. Second, Felguard coming out. Maybe that's going to be a setup. Does he have another stun to follow? He does have another stun to follow. Tyrant coming out. Does he have a Mortal Coil? He does not. Mufasa just trying to bail away from Catalyst. If those pets can catch up, if the Tyrant can somehow swing around the other corner, he might be able to get quite a big few slabs back to Mufasa. 2 casts. And Mufasa did take a bit of damage there, but he is ranging the pets completely, just denying any kind of damage for Catalyst. I think Catalyst needs to have himself a proper setup next time he has a Tyrant. Double stun, no DRs, as well as a Mortal Coil. He needs a Mortal Coil into a stun, Or no, stun, Mortal Coil, and let the Tyrant get some slaps. As long as he knows that Mufasa does not have a trinket. But Catalyst is going to have to play the low, slow game with those pets, hoping that the pets do enough damage to Mufasa while cutting him around. As long as he can get those pets up and running with a Vile Fin and everything, he might be okay. Mufasa just outraging those pets with just incredible mobility. Trade coming up for Catalyst. Needs to get an interrupt onto Mufasa. Does land the interrupt on the Convoke. The Convoke didn't do the big damage abilities of the bat. Looks like maybe it'd give Mufasa some kind of a reset up or maybe a bleed onto Catalyst. Probably was a rejuvenation setup or regrowth. As Catalyst continues to get more and more pets up and running. What kind of a legend does Catalyst run, by the way, as a demonology? Because I don't think Warlocks in PvP run the legendary that a lot of other Warlocks in PvE run, where when you or your pet do damage, it can empower the other person. Mortal Coil into Mufasa as he goes there for a big leap for Catalyst. At least Catalyst so far been able to deny a lot of the damage for Mufasa. But having this ramp up here, having the Felguard go up and down the stairs all the time does deny the Felguard a lot of free damage. So for Mufasa, this is a good setup. Even though Catalyst does get himself great mobility here, it's still tough. Stun into Mufasa, does just to trick it into a Skull Bash onto Catalyst. Catalyst can still go for a good setup with damage. Trying to land a fear onto the Feral. Re-stealth comes out, and Catalyst is under a lot of pressure yet again. The wall is back up and running. And should be able to get himself a Vile Fin, maybe even a Tyrant. Needs more pets. Stun onto Mufasa. He does have another pet up and running too. Maybe a Mortal Coil onto Mufasa. Needs himself the Tyrant. Is going to get the Tyrant either way. He kind of needs to keep Mufasa out in the open. Mortal Coil. The Tyrant does not attack him. What's the Tyrant doing? He gets in melee range. Maybe finally he'll get some slaps. Maybe the Tyrant will perch up above and maybe start doing damage from somewhere up high. Maybe gets one cat. He did not get a single cast. Catalyst at least attaches a life drain onto Mufasa, but he's just still in so much trouble. The Feral can just outrange and outrun all these pets constantly. Catalyst needs some massive heal and recovery right now. With those roots, Mufasa is just like, okay, hold on there. Hold your horses. Let me root you for a second. Let me go back up. Then we can duel. I don't know if Catalyst is going to come out of this alignment. We are at the 5-minute mark. 3% dampener. Not high enough dampening for Catalyst to have a bad time, but he is still just under a lot of pressure. Mortal Coil yet again onto Mufasa. Needs even more pets to just DPS down. Mufasa also needs a Tyrant. In 30 seconds, he might be able to make something work. Stun onto Mufasa with Soul Rod available. Is that going to be enough damage altogether? Mufasa looking to chase Catalyst, but again, just going to dip away from all those pets. Does Mufasa go for a leap? He does go for a leap, still avoiding all those pets as they have it to run up and down the stairs. Up and down, over and over and over. Catalyst goes in for a gateway. He has mobility, if anything. This guy can outrun a Feral for quite a while. Trick gets out of that stun. That's going to be the big Convoke. Does get interrupted before it ramps up too hard into a maim onto Catalyst. Does he have anything? Catalyst at least has time to go down. And the Shadow Fury continuing to summon as many pets as possible. With those pets are just so weak without a powerful big boy Tyrant. The Tyrant comes out. Does Mufasa stay? Does he go for the finishing kill? Does he stay in and fight? Maybe Catalyst can make something work off this. Mortal Coil or stun or anything. If you can only stun Mufasa out in the open with the Tyrant, he might be in a good spot. As the regrowths come out from Mufasa looking for a bit of that recovery. Looks like the recovery is not as big anymore. Has to go for Frenzy Regeneration. Big old port coming out for Catalyst. Mufasa burns his mobility maybe a little early. It's going to be Catalyst with even more mobility. Stun to Mufasa, forces the chicken out of him. Mufasa is actually kind of low. His second Felguard joins the fight. Wait, this could be bad for Mufasa. Does he go in for the killing shot? Does he go for the finishing hit? Catalyst might be able to make Immortal call him out. Does go for a drain life. Mufasa trying to recover health. As two Felguards approach, the regrowth is coming out. It looks like he might be able to catch up on health. Catalyst might be able to maybe have one more go here because he's just drained of all defensives. Bash onto Catalyst. Mortal call onto Mufasa. At least recovers a little bit of health with the fear. And where's that Felguard running off to? Does he just have Felguard maybe positioned in a specific spot? Maybe. Stun into Mufasa right after. Not enough pets to really do damage. Wait, maybe he has enough here though. So rotted. Looks like he takes down the Feral. Wait, the pod. He needs to DPS the pod. Do the pets have enough damage to the pod? Zarya backing out, seeing the pod. Does the Feral? He does not survive, and Zarya is on top of Catalyst, opening up as a Night Fae sub-rogue, vanishing with the Shadow Blades. Catalyst has a dot ticket on him. Is he going to go for a port away from the rogue? Wall coming out as a kidney shot comes in. Does he go for the stun? Does he have anything to stop this rogue at that cheap shot as he has a wall? How is this Warlock still alive right now? Stun onto Zarya. Does he have a Mortal Call to combo? Actually does not. He's going to go for a drain life instead. Zarya, Cloak of Shadows coming out. If Catalyst can land a Mortal Call and CC chains Zarya, he'll be in a good spot. Mortal Call comes out as a blind, comes in, trick us out of it, sending the pets in there. Actually, might have Zarya down. No vanish available for the rogue. Does he survive the rogue just by a hair? The pets are doing as much damage as they can. Zarya goes down. How is this Warlock still alive? And Vidma almost getting snapped with a stun. Does he interrupt this? Reflect on that combustion. Vidma doing damage back to himself. Catalyst just continuing to pump out damage. I think it's going to be over though. The pod comes in. Does he have the pet stun to stop the damage? If he has the pet stun right now, he could stop the damage. Looks like he does not. And Vidma taking him out. How did that Demonology Warlock survive for as long as he did, boys? How does that even happen? Zarya's outlaw? Was he really? I thought Zarya... No, Zarya, look, you can see on the bottom left. You can see Zarya at the bottom left. He is subtlety. Shadow Blades, dance, everything. That's going to be Kata. Getting caught outside of form. So that's going to be free poly. Chickens into a roar onto Vidma. Just needs a little bit of damage to take Vidma down. Bash. It looks like Vidma still has Icebug, still has Cauterize. And there goes that Cauterize with an Icebug, recovering all that held back. And Kata should be able to turn it around quite easily against the Mage, as the Mage has nothing left. That Warlock survived for so long, though. Did that Warlock defeat 3 people back to back? Is that what happened there? Was that 3? That Feral duel was so clutch. G-Pie coming out for Vidma should be able to do quite a bit of damage. Big old Barskin available for Kata though. As he goes in for Bear Form, Frenzy Regeneration. The Druids, man, are so taken now. Trying to see maybe he can go for a Cyclone off of that Alter Time, denying Vidma any kind of heals. But Vidma catching up on health either way. Poly onto Kata. Can't do Poly while he's in Boomy form. The Star form is the Boomy form. That's going to be a big carry setup for Kata. Big damage coming out. Star Surges should be huge. Vidma not in a good spot. Big Star Surges, 3 of them. If there was a 4th Star Surge, that would have been game over by now. Dust of the Breath for Kata. Does not go for a Poly. And Kata should be able to power shift out of all those roots quite easily. Vidma trying to sprint out of here. At least he has a shield back up and rolling. But can't really do much against the Boomy at this point. I think with the dots Catalyst that does have him. Just trying to see if he can burn through his shields. Big combustion coming out as Vidma. Just trying to go for their all-in strat. But I think with the dots they just burn out. And Kata, as long as he focuses out some damage onto this pod, he shouldn't have any issues right now. Trying to get some Star Surges into the pod. The dots and everything. It looks like the pod is going to go down with Reggie. Going to be the last one left as an arms warrior charging in on his rightful steed. And Kata, even though he got the weapon thrown at him, lands a prowl anyway. Interesting. Very interesting. I've noticed that the druid prowl, if they have like, let's say, an ability mid-air and you stealth, it doesn't get the druid out. But if with the rogue with stealth, it'll get you out immediately. Well, actually now with the shield that rogues have, I don't think it'll get you out. But still, either way, it's going to be Rage going for a massive duel! Massive damage onto the Balance Druid. While in defensive stance, Avatar throwing in the Spear of Bastion, burning right through him. That was crazy. Absolutely insane opener. Jim's going in for Plunder Armor onto Rage. Looking just like the boy. He's like, yo, I like your Mog. Mind if I take it? Get a shot into Rage. Does give himself a reroll of Roll the Bones. Rage actually under a lot of pressure. Does he go for parry? Might have to go for a parry as Jim's has a lot of damage available. Rage though somehow generating some heals. Looks like Jim's doing some damage all of a sudden. Parry available for Rage. Looking to turn it around onto the rogue. Jim's Cloak of Shadows coming out. Does he have evasion? Rage can't really get too much damage to Jim. So almost has him in an execute range though. Does he get him? Blind coming out onto the warrior. And Jim's catch himself probably a restealth most likely. Yep. With a sap rage, could maybe somehow get him out. Does someone get the rogue out with an execute at the end? And looks like Proxy is going to be up next. Does Rage have any mage food? If the mage should have given them some food actually. If Proxy is allowing him to get some recovery. If Rage has mage food, he actually could go for a full honorable duel here. Looks like he doesn't need it. Just gonna get a big old charge of the Proxy. Playing against an Arcane Mage though. Train coming out for Proxy as he goes in for a mass invis. Rage was on top of him for just a second. With the Spear of Bastion coming out. Does he have anything for that touch of the Magi? As long as he gets some damage back to Proxy and deny any kind of burst. Might have to go for a Reflect here. Maybe interrupt onto a Arcane Missiles. Big damage onto Rage. Takes a lot of damage, but he's still trucking in defensive stance. It looks like does get taken out by Proxy at the very end though. That was a full burst out of an Arcane Mage. And that was Rage actually with 2. Kata with only 2? No, Kata has to be 3. Kata had to be with 3. Right? Wasn't it? I thought Kata had 3. Maybe Kata had 3, but one of them was a pod. And then the pod wouldn't work that way. Anyway, boys, let's get another duel up and running. Yep, who do we have? Lore wants to go. Shadow got a group. Let's go, boys. Let's go. We got to get Cat in here, though. We have to get Cat, man. His team didn't really get to play much. Only the Shaman got to play for the most part. And then we got to get Lore versus Proxy or Spart. Good duel there, boyos. Spart is still ready? Yo, I'm gonna get Cat. Yo, Cat, ready? Might as well move on. Ready again because someone was didn't play to play. Oh, sorry. I'm just checking if you're ready. Yes, cool. Yeah, I'm just checking, man. Just checking. Let me get on a sip of water, dude. My mouth is so dry. Warcraft, dude. Wow, what do you mean? World of Warcraft? Yeah. What's this class to learn to war PvP with? Or PvP with? I would think it's a class with self-heals. Like a Feral or a Windwalker, maybe. Actually, maybe a Marksman? Because Marksman, you just go for your setup big rapid fire. Pew pew. Sub-Rogue, I'd say, is somewhat easy. Actually, I would say Sub-Rogue is pretty easy nowadays. Like, as long as you know your rotational, like Cheap Shot, Shadow Dance, Shadow Strike, Eviscerate, Mark for the Eviscerate, with a Quit Lego, you'll do a lot of damage. Things will mostly die in BGs. Like, if you're talking about, like, casual gameplay. Too exciting, make it hard towards the cameras again, Dal, lol. Too exciting, make it hard towards the cameras again. It's all good, sorry. It's all good, my man. These are going to be, the best parts are going to go into videos either way, my guy. So don't worry, you're not missing out anything amazing here. Because all the amazing moments are going to be stored on the channel either way. 2727394. We got it! I usually mess that up. It was an alcoholic like me? Yo, King, I got an alt on the way, dude. I want to have one before the reset next week. I don't know if I want to do Survival Hunter or Pala. I'm just going to level one of them. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to rip the band-aid and pick one. But yeah, dude. Alrighty, boys. Let's get another one up and running here. Switch. Please buff on Holy Blizzard. Isn't Unholy DK insanely good right now, Damon? I think they're pretty good. What's up, Knack? How you doing, my man? What's going on? Doing some duels, my guy. You know, same old, same old. Sub only got 6 buttons if you do it right. True. It really is not super complex, I'd say. We got ourselves team 1 with Omega. With Katchik in the back as well. Second to his guns is Fury. Unstoppable. Pure Haze as well as Ariork. With Unstoppable, the guy who won for 1v4 last time we had these guys. Versus another team. We got ourselves Sanitizing it as a Demonology Warlock. We got ourselves Tony 4. I wonder what Covenant he is playing. With Belisarius. We got ourselves Tech War. Oh my god. What are those boots? I feel like those boots make him look shorter than he really is. I know. Wait, is it Panda or is it Dwarf? He looks like a panda. Looks like a short panda, and you got this Eleganton as well with Omega going first versus Belly. Belly going in for, was that a trinket? I think it was a human racial. With a disarm onto the Feral, does have to play against Thorns, needs to not do damage into Thorns right now. It looks like he's gonna bail out for a second, did pop Avatar for it though. He did pop Avatar there, but then realized his mistake. Defensive stance. Up and running, gonna be a Feral reopening back up with a bash, with a convoke onto Belly. Does he just go down? Big bites, Barry activated, but looks like Belly taking him out. I mean, Omega taking him out. Might be. Belly, my dude, that was super unfortunate with that duel. He actually, I think what the problem was, he committed maybe too much damage into Feral's Thorn. Should have definitely hit him with like a fear and ran away or something. That's hard though, dude. If you just hit into the Thorns even for a second, it just makes it really impossible to win as an Arms Warrior, in my opinion. Santa is going to be up next, playing that Moldraxxus Necrolord, getting a stun onto Omega. I can't believe I messed up their names. Into a second stun with another Tyrant coming now with a Mortal Coil around. Big CC chains on Omega. The second Felgor joins the fight. Bear form available for Omega. And I think he's activating himself a health increase trinket. I think it's a Battlemaster trinket he's using. That Tyrant is going to slap you in the face. The probably should be next to him. In a couple of those blasts from the Tyrant, a couple of the demonic bolts from the Tyrant. The Felguards are still marching one by one after Omega as Sanitize is just looking for a line of sight. Landing a stun onto Omega will keep him in combat and under pressure. Unable to re-stealth as Sanitize gets more and more pets up and running. Big Roar is going to be reflected by Sanitize, and Omega gets himself in the Cyclone. Sanitize should be able to do something off of the Cyclone. Trying to go for a fear. Gonna be a Skull Bash by Omega instead. As he goes in for as someone vile for Mortal Coil to follow. It's going to be Omega popping the trinket. And Sanitize going in for a port as the Pharaoh looking to get some damage rolling. Walling as well as Target Loss available, looking to make some damage happen. And there goes the stun as it goes for a frenzied regeneration. As a Vile Fin and the Felguard on two sides are just blasting him. The Cyclone comes out, but for the pet of the Warlock, a Sanitize. Waiting out until he gets himself a good opportunity to do some damage too. Omega does go for a Skull Bash on the fear. Santa should be able to get himself up another turn very, very soon. While available for the Warlock, does shoot to trinket out of that maim and port away from Omega. That's going to be Omega able to deal some damage with his Brutal Slashes. Stun into a fear onto Omega. Senator is looking for that health recovery. Does he have the Moldraxxus shield back up? He actually could get a full shield rolling too. Mortal Coil into Omega. Does he have a stun to follow? Going to be a big old Tyrant summoned up. The Feral is stuck in the tail and running, trying to see if he might be able to get himself increased survivability. Standing next to the Tyrant. I think it's not super juiced up, but it is still slapping quite a bit. Stun onto the Warlock. Does the Warlock, he looks like actually maybe just sat there stun and then ported without any issues. Didn't look like he had to commit a human trinket or anything at it. I think Omega just had a little bit of a misplay or maybe a little bit of a miss RNG with that Convoke. With all those pets surrounding the Warlock, those pets are probably a target for the Convoke too. So for Sanitize, maybe it's a perfect opportunity where the pets took a brunt of that damage, trying to land a fear onto the Feral, but the Feral lands a big maim. Sanitize under lots of pressure here with the Roars. The Mortal Coil comes out, and that's going to be a fear onto Omega right after. The Feral's wall not available for 2 minutes, Trinket not available for 15 seconds, and that's the stun miss for Sanitize as he tries to get more pets up and running. And Omega looks like he's going to be able to bail out of there for a second. Sanitize does keep the Felguard over there, keeping Omega in combat though. But at least he keeps the Feral out of stealth, which is a good thing for him. That's going to be a big old leap into a Skull Bash for the cat. That's going to be a port for Sanitize to follow up as he summons even more pets. Sanitize does have Tyrant coming back in 10 seconds. Maybe can do something out of it. Trick it for Omega, but does eat a fear right after. And Sanitize is free to summon as many pets as he wants to. Does he have himself a good setup? It looks like he does not yet. Drain Life coming out versus Omega for now though. I don't know if Sanitize has been able to use the Decimating Bolt ability just yet. As a Warlock, I don't know if he's been able to get that set up at all. Skull Bash onto that fear. Sanitize does have a Tyrant coming back very, very soon. Omega going in for some burst damage himself though. Effect available for Sanitize in case Omega does something. Tyrant coming out. Maybe does he have a stun chain onto Omega? Does go for a fear with a Drain Life. Looks like he denied. He decided to go against the Tyrant. There goes the Decimating Bolt. Might be able to make something off it. The next Demon Fire bolts are going to be huge. Or Demon Bolts. If he can only get a Tyrant together with it and a big fat CC chain, he'll be in a good spot. Needs to maybe wait out. Health super low. Not in a great position. Does not get Skull Bashes yet. Omega didn't have a Skull Bash off the CD. Another fear coming out. Does hit him with maim. Does this over for the Warlock? Does go for a counter stun to Omega with a Mortal Coil fear right after. Going for the fatty Tyrant play. Does he go for the big go? Looks like it's going to be Feral in bear form. Resetting over there behind the pillar. As Flashcraft coming out for Sanitize. At least he's going to be able to deal with some of the bleeds and some of the damage as Omega got going on for him. Stun onto Omega. It is going to be very, very short stun, but double Felguard is available. Trying to make that Tyrant come out in the open and chase after Omega, but looks like it's really difficult. Fear coming out, or at least trying to come out for Sanitize. Big bites to follow for Omega. Just needs a little bit of more damage, and Sanitize does go down. 5 minutes into this duel, we have ourselves Sanitize and the Warrior on the other team down as Omega, eating them both up. Who's up next? It looks like it's going to be Tony 4. I like that Kyrian setup he's got going on. What? I don't know if he was trying to teabag or sit down or what. But I don't like that Kyrian set. Not going with the shoulders. I kind of feel like the shoulders is the bread and butter of the build. Big Convoke the Spirits. Tony does go for a big shield defender. Super low in health. Could still be in trouble. Bubble coming out as Omega just went for it. He did have to burn a trinket for it. Tony trying to make the big hammers fly. Got himself wings to follow up to. Omega should be able to catch himself a re-stealth to stay away from Tony. Actually goes in for a counter attack with a rake opener. Tony does have full Seraphim ready. Thorns on a wall available for Omega, hoping that wall keeps him alive through the Seraphim damage on the Thorns. Do damage back to Tony. If he only could get that interrupt on that heal, he would have been in a great spot and might have even been able to take out the Paladin. But looks like Omega will have to deal with the Blessing of Protection at a later time. Tony is not out of the fight just yet. Did have to burn wings for that burst though. And Omega is going to go for a bit of a reset. We are at almost the 7-minute mark of this duel, boys. 11% dampener. And Tony goes in for a bit of a mount up, trying to see if he might be able to get a bit of a reset and a breather himself. Ballistic Protection with Shield Evaders coming out in 30 seconds or so. Tony should have all the defenses available. Looks like Omega almost missed his opener on him. Looks like he almost did. Thorns available. Does Tony capitalize into this? He does have Seraphim. Does he go for it? He's going for as much range damage before touching the Thorns. While Seraphim is up, Tony short. Blessing Protection coming out. Omega does go for a self-heal. Super low in health. Next global taking him out. And Tony should be able to blast through the seed easily. So far, the Paladin has had incredible damage for these duels. Incredible damage output. Kachikan rolling in next with Tony. Not a lot of defenses available. Only has a shield of vengeance. Kachikan goes in for, oh, if I can only find Cat. Goes in for a bit of damage himself. Getting hit with a slow hand hitter and sleeping out with a charge. Hand and freedom available for Tony is not going to get slowed down by this. Kachikan going in for a port towards Tony. Almost landing that interrupt there too. Leap on top of Tony right after. Is Kachikan playing the triple leap Lego? Is that what he's playing as a Fury Warrior? Shield of Vengeance is going to pop back and Cat does himself a shield rolling with Ignore Pain. And looks like Tony is actually sitting so close to the execute range. Big condemns coming out for Kachikan. Needs the damage. Still charge, and there goes the Rampage as Kachikan taking him out with Stormbolt flying. A Tech Warrior is going to be up next. Big Bastion Spear coming out. Kachikan gets himself a shield, blocking a lot of damage from Tech Warrior. We haven't seen this out of Warriors in quite a while with Cat backpedaling, but blocking attacks from Tech War. It's such a simple trick. Swap to a shield and hit block, and you deny a lot of the melee damage. Just denying it completely. Kachikan trying to turn around into a more aggressive stance. Big leaps coming out for Cat. I think he's playing the legendary with triple leap. Probably does a lot of flag running for a Fury Warrior, doesn't he? Roar for a little bit of a health. Kachikan needs himself a little bit of recovery though. Tech Warrior has him on the ropes. Could go for a massive executes. Kachikan definitely needs himself a reheal. Stormbolt as Tech Warrior leaps up. Goes in for the executes one. Kachikan at least gets himself a bloodthirst. Might have to go for a shield slam setup. You get interrupted on his gateway. And that's going to be the execute coming out for Tech Warrior. Kachikan does have the Shadow coming out. And Tech Warrior walked out of it. The Shadow, by the way, can actually one-shot people. In PvP, it does like half your health and damage. Polymer coming up for Archeoric as Tech Warrior is going to get himself a full reheal. But he's actually completely out of resources to deal with. Archeoric is big much coming out. Trying to leap out of a meteor. Didn't really work out that well for him. And Archeoric is left at the end versus Eleganten. As we head into 9 minutes into this duel. 27% dampener boys. Fire versus fire. And Archeoric, only thing he committed is a meteor. Actually, no, he committed combustion for the warrior. So there's a lot of damage committed. Eleganten not really taking the most here. Still staying strong. There's going to be images for the both of them. Shift in power versus Radiant Spark as Eleganten going in for big meteor damage. Does a ton of damage to Archeoric. Does himself the Alter Time available though. When did he use Alter Time? I do wonder. How much health could really recover? Did Eleganten steal the Alter Time by the way? I think he might have stole the Alter Time. I think Eleganten did steal the Alter Time. I think most mages right now run Klepto because there's so many shields. So many buffs you get from other classes that you can just steal. Big breath onto Archeoric for a second. Ring of Frost to CC him for a moment. Rune of Power coming in as he might be able to get the Pyre Blast here. Looks like the port coming in for Arhi. She shields, get his spell stolen, steals him back though, and then got without any shields right now. Actually under quite a bit of pressure. If Arhi can maybe turn this around with a massive setup, getting interrupted on fire, Meteor missing, and Legatna just continue to the damage. Basically, I think Arhi needs to wait until Legatna goes in for spell steal of his own, and then he Kleptos back all those buffs back. I think that's the only way to go about it. Arhi eating a Meteor to the face, but he felt like it barely touched him. Landing upon him for until Legatna gets himself shields up and running. It looks like he's gonna go for shifting power and maybe getting some CDR. Should be able to have combustion very, very soon, actually. He was able to shorten the combustion at least by a couple seconds. So that's a Meteor and a combustion coming up very, very soon together. And with Eleganton, he does have defensives. Ice Block, Cauterize. He won't have really any kind of trinket to get out of CC Chain. But Archeor can at least proc out all the massive defensives out of Eleganton. Does hit him with a root for a moment. Does he go for a big setup? Looks like he goes in for more of a kiting spree. Does he collect the shields back? He might need it right now. Ice Block coming down for Ark. He does not want to burn his Cauterize just yet by the looks of it. Maybe he wants to have Cauterize for later. Or maybe he's thinking, you know what? I'll use Cauterize and I'll pop shields. And I'll burn through the Cauterize damage so I'll have the extra health. Big combustion coming out. Does Arhi go for a big old Meteor? Hasn't sent the Meteor just yet. Trying to make the damage happen. Got himself shields versus Eleganton. And Eleganton so far hasn't taken the most damage out of this combustion. So far it's been pretty tame. But Arhi still got a couple Fire Blasts ready to go either way. Still continue to Fire Blast and Fire Blast this guy over and over. Shifting the power right after. Eleganton's kind of low, so his Archeor could be Cauterized out of either one. It's going to be Klepto. For Klepto, Eleganton stuck without shields. Going to be his Cauterize coming out. Does get shields at the very end, though. That's going to be shields absorbing a lot of that Cauterize damage. Big Meteor onto Arhi. And Arhi blinks out of it. Still super low in health. Also, his Cauterize is getting proc too. Doesn't have shields for that Cauterize, though. So he's going to be way behind on health this time. At least in comparison to the other mage. Definitely needs some kind of reheal right now. Does he have anything? Does at least get shields. So he might be okay. He's setting a Meteor till I got from one side in case he walks out. And Arhi got the boys in there. The images are rolling up. Spell steal's happening. Arhi getting caught out without shields and damage through it. Eleganton probably will be able to do enough damage to blast through the seed of Arhiork. If he doesn't, I'll be surprised. Wait, Arhi, no! It looked like he actually almost had it. He almost had it, then he died? It looked like he had it for a second. Huh. Okay, well, it looks like FaZe is going to be up next. I guess it's going to give Eleganton at least a bit of an auto duel. As a rogue versus a mage, and Hayes feeling pretty confident in his ability to be able to fight a fire. Especially at 49% dampening. I think at this point, Hayes, I mean, he doesn't have to deal with the Cauterize, just only Ice Block. And the burst damage. So as long as he has cooldowns for it, he'll be okay. Eleganton blink it away from Hayes, does hit him with a breath. Tricky coming out for the rogue. Eleganton at least has all the time. Blind onto Eleganton as Hayes looking for a reset. Shadow Blade's available. Eleganton caught up a lot of health back. I don't know if Hayes has a cheap shot available here. His super DR. Immediate blink out of Eleganton out of that cheap shot. Dropping a Meteor down into Hayes as he goes in for a Cloak of Shadows. If Eleganton somehow survives, he could go for a setup onto Hayes. Because Hayes doesn't have anything left. Hits up with the Ring of Frost. Does he trap him in there? Looks like he doesn't. Combustion coming out. It's going to be the rogue trying to do as much damage as possible. Ice Block for Eleganton, recovering a little bit of health. And Hayes is doing A-okay, just not going for reset at all. Well, he's got himself a sip pick up with the Kyrian. Eleganton got a Fire Blast of Pyros. Blinks out of the cheap shot. And Hayes could actually be in a really bad spot right now. Breath onto Hayes. That's going to be Pyro at the end. Eleganton taking him out. Unstoppable is the last man left. Looks like Eleganton just fighting tooth and nail to get some W's for his team, man. Trying to do what he can. Feeling pretty good after Archeork. As long as he gets every CD out of the rogue. As long as he gets those Pyros and Fire Blasts, he is golden. He's in a good spot. It looks like Unstoppable is going to give him an auto duel as well. So both the Rogue and Unstoppable are giving this mage an auto duel. We'll see if this mage is able to capitalize with his auto duel capabilities. No Ice Block this time. No Cauterize, so it's not a lot of defenses left. 59% dampener, so shields are not going to be as effective. Could be quite rough, man. Could be quite rough. Breath and a Poly out of Eleganton as he goes in for a setup. Doesn't play G-Pie, so that's interesting. Trying to go for Rune of Power. Meteor still coming down. Unstoppable. Trying to get this Pyro Blast happen. Playing that Kyrian setup. Wall coming in for Unstoppable. Better tank up this damage before his health dips super low. As he got himself that Maldraxxus shield over after that original Maldraxxus shield rolling. Still trying to heal, even at 60% damage, but tasteful might as well do what he can. If healing is the best position for him, he might as well. Room power coming out for Elegant yet again. Does he have any setup? Lightning Lasso onto Elegant, and he does blink out of it. Still sitting next to his Rune of Power. Does he go for a Fire Blast Pyros? He should maximize that Rune of Power every single time. Couple Pyros, couple Fire Blasts. Fire Elemental joining on tasteful, so that's going to be lots of damage. Stormkeeper on one side, Fire Ellie on the other. This could be really bad for Elegant. Does have shields, and tasteful needs to find a way to deal with those shields ASAP. The earlier he can start burning through the health bar of Elegant, the better. Looks like he just goes for a trinket out of the breath. Probably trying to land, but Elegant is the last of trinkets out of that one. I think Elegant is over. The Fire Elemental taking him out. As Insufferable does come out and just slam the competition. Played that really, really well. Wow, lots of damage out of all you boys. Eleganton looks like he only has one kill, but at least two, because one of them was with a pod. That one you can't really do much for her. You know what I mean? Alrighty, boys, let's get another up and running. Yeah? Would he be under 5-1 something? I'll get you guys know in a bit. Yeah? I'll get you guys know in a second, boys. My mouth's so dry, dude. I'm almost out of water. Let me go get water again, dude. Let me go get water again. I feel like I should have had some coffee today, dude. I'm feeling so sleepy. I haven't been sleeping well. 48, 49. Let me get another bottle of water and I'll explain to you guys how you can join in. Next deal will probably be somebody gets low lord and it looks like proxy is ready, so we'll do those guys. Let me get water real quick and recycle this, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, boys, we got a fresh bottle of water, stretched our legs, and we are good for yet another duel, boys. So if you guys want to know how to join in the 5V5 1v1, all you have to go for is player versus player, premier group, custom PvP. Find a group and type in number 5, enter to see if there's a 5v5 1v1 group I'm running. Most of the groups will be called something like this. If you guys also don't see a group and you want to make one, you can always add me on Reality after you make a 5-man, and once you have a 5-man, I'll queue against one of the boys available here. Hit start group, call it something like 5v5 1v1 Duels Dalaran or something. Get each other a 5-man, 4 others than you. Once you have a group and you're the lead, add me on Reality, and we'll queue against the boys in a 5v5 1v1 duel action. We got Little Lord next and Proxy in here as well. If you guys want to know, if you guys should join my Discord. We also have all that, how to join and how to make groups of 5v1 duels. All that information on Discord as well. Let's get Sparta H in here. I think we'll do Sparta maybe versus Cat. Has Shadow? Oh no, Shadow hasn't done Sparta. So I guess we can go Sparta or Shadow or Ketchum versus Sparta. That could work if he has a group up and running after this. Start a group, sign up. Yo, yeah, if you guys start a group, you're more than welcome to advertise that you have a group in the chat. Let them know what faction and what the group is called and how many people you need. I think that'll help people out to like figure out, oh, okay, need 2 more? Oh, okay, I'll join in. Oh, I'll join in too. 5v1 Dala. There we go, my guy. There we go. Doing these on EU today and NA tomorrow, so it is region locked in a way. These duels are region locked, like a lot of the Korean MMOs. Alrighty, boys. Twitch. What do we got? We got ourselves team 1 together with Corsair, still sticking to his affliction guns with Oblivion in the back as a fire mage. We got ourselves Kajimet as an arms warrior with Kravika as a shadow and Boombara as a marksman hunter. I do like that set. The shoulders look so good. That's one of the coolest things Legion added. Although it feels like a demon hunter shoulder, honestly. It looks so good either way. We got ourselves in the opposite team. We got ourselves Proximum switching now. Actually, no, sticking to his arcane guns. We got ourselves Catalyzer as a Boomy with Jims as Outlook going up first. In the back, we got ourselves Lonely Boomer as a fire mage. And we got Shinja as a not demonology warlock, destruction warlock. I saw that pet the floating head, and I was like, demonology, 100%. But this ain't Legion anymore, boys. Chrysler all getting opened up with a cheap shot by Jims in the opener. As he goes in for a bit of dot pressure back to Jims. Jims does have a carrion with him. At least let the steward go home. Why does the little steward have to watch the carnage? Nice interrupt onto Chrysler with a blade rush into a gouge, controlling the fight against Chrysler as best as he can. Cloak of Shadows does get used for Jims pretty early as Chrysler does set up quite a bit of dots on him. Still hasn't used his burst though. Mortal into Jims, chooses to trinket it. Missing his kick though, and Chrysler is free to cast. Shadow Fury onto Jims, goes for a killer shot instead. Chrysler goes for human racial. Shadow Fury to follow. Does get the UA onto Jims with quite a bit of damage. And then goes Plunder Armor out of the Outlaw Rogue with a Drone Rush. She'd be able to maybe make some damage happen here. Blade Rush to fall. It doesn't really give him that charge effect. I guess maybe it was too close to Chrysler. Chrysler does go for the Warlock House, so his Jims is just slicing and dicing through the guy. Warlock port coming in for Chrysler. Jims looking like he's gonna tuck tail and run, going for a bit of a reset. No pads to chase after Jims, so Chrysler can't really keep the rogue out of cell for too long. And Jims should be able to, I think, survive and live through all those dots. And he's gonna dismiss his Kieran friend. Shinji going out to set up a gateway. I guess setting up whenever he is going for the duels. Maybe he's going to be up next. Just to make sure he's prepared versus Chrysler. Chrysler picking up the eye. Does Jims go for the sap here? As a rogue, if you go around the corner properly, you can get a sap. Looks like Chrysler does find Jims out. It looks like the Kieran guy didn't disappear. Or maybe he did for a second. Gonna be Jims getting dotted up. Looking like he's going to go for a bit of a reset. Maybe go for a re-stealth. There is one conduit that rogues can use where every time you catch a re-stealth, you get a shield. That one is so good. You guys should definitely get it if you PvP. Definitely use it if you go to PvP. And Jim's going for a gouge onto Chrysler, going for a bit of a reset himself though. Kind of just chilling, AFKing, trying to get around the corner with Chrysler. As Chrysler goes in, dotting up from side to side, getting the stun of Jims. I think it might be over for the rogue. Doesn't get a Cloak of Shadows for 20 more seconds. And I think the dots are just going to rot him down. Unless he hasn't got a self heals. I think it's over. Evasion. Can't evade those dots. You can't evade the plague. And Chrysler taking out the Outlaw Rogue. Although he was under quite a lot of pressure by the Outlaw. For quite a bit of time. Shinji is going to be up next. It's going to be a Succubus CC onto Chrysler as he goes in for big Dark Lair versus Shinji. Shinji goes in for Mortal Coil, but Chrysler goes super far away. Just taking that Mortal Coil with him. As the dots are burning him down quite a bit. Resetting a gateway. Again, go maximum the distance. Shinji taking quite a bit of dot damage right now. Chrysler setting up a UA with a Soul Rider after Shinji. It's going to be melting slowly but surely. Chrysler got the double drain on both the pet as well as Shinji. Lots of heals. That's going to be reflected with that cancel. Back to Shinji. It does quite a lot of Shinji under lots of pressure, under lots of trouble. Those dots are melting him. Trying to see if he might be able to Night Fade out of there. But still, rotting down to the dots. I think maybe his Demon Armor might be able to stabilize him. I think it does stabilize him. Trying to get a Chaos Bolt into Chrysler, but just can't quite do it. It looks like maybe the dots are just... Oh, no. Oh, no. His Demon Armor I thought would be enough, but I guess it wasn't. Lonely Boomer is going to be up next. Does he go for Invis? Lonely Boomer does go for Invis. So he is just walking up at Chrysler. Does Chrysler realize there's a Mage Invis somewhere? Hits him with a breath in the open. Polymorph for after Chrysler, almost interrupting it. But couldn't quite do it. I wonder what pet Chrysler sacrificed. I wonder if he might need to resummon a Fellhound and then sacrifice that. Maybe he was running Blueberry this whole time. Are you way onto Lonely Boomer? The mage is going to be able to bust out of it pretty quickly. I'm swapping the wrong person. I'm so sorry. Polly trying to land. Chrysler trying to get some dots back onto Lonely Boomer. Soul Rod does not apply. As it's going to be Night Fade versus Night Fade competition here, boys. At least the mage is slowed down. Getting it with a stun. Doesn't have the blink to get out of stuns by the looks of it. Breath onto Chrysler, landing the poly, almost landing that poly. Looks like that breath broke out really early. Gonna be a free shift in power for Lonely Boomer as he's going for a bit of a CDR recovery, although he didn't really commit a lot of CDs. Maybe you might want to do that with a Combustion and a Meteor, or after using Combustion and Meteor. Maybe he's just trying to get a shield back up and running. Either way, keeping that ability on cooldown doesn't seem like the worst idea ever. Chrysler just waiting out, kind of juking out away from those images. Got him all dotted up. He could put Agony on those things, and that would give him a lot of soul shards, so next time he has a Malefic Rapture Burst, he might be in a good spot. The images are not going to live long enough at all. And Lonely Boomer looks like he's just waiting it out. I think he might be able to go for a bit of health recovery, forcing Chrysler over to his side of the pillar. Chrysler has the back out he needs. He has the gateway, he has the ports. Gonna be a Poly into Chrysler, almost landing that interrupt, or maybe a Reflector to Lonely Boomer. G-Pi connecting with immediate to follow. Has Reflector available, does Lonely Boomer spell steal. It looks like Chrysler just went for a couple Soul Shift ports as well as a normal Gateway port just to get out of that situation. There was a lot of CDs committed by the mage. Still gonna get himself Rune of Power. Chrysler does go for an interrupt on it. Into a stun off of that combustion. Big damage available for Lonely Boomer, but a Mortal Coil and a Drain Life should keep Chrysler alive for quite a while. He is going to be able to stabilize while Lonely Boomer is the one taking a lot of that burning damage. Just burning down to the dots, even though Chrysler is the one who took big Pyroblast combustions to the face back to back. Lonely Boomer does go for, I think, for Warlock Hellstone. He definitely just use something right now just to give himself a little bit of health. And I don't think they have a Warlock on their team. Oh wait, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They had Shinja. That makes sense, actually. Interrupted the Lonely Boomer. Chrysler rooted, trying to get the dots up and running, but really can't. It's going to be a slow game for Chrysler just because he doesn't have, or he does have mobility, but he doesn't really want to use it aggressively. Dark Lair coming in. Should be some freebie damage onto the mage. Trying to go for a G-Pi. Does Chrysler go for a Reflect? Actually, Mortal Coil instead. Got himself a few Malefic Raptures. Big burst damage out of those Raptures, though. Looks like Lonely Boomer does have to go for an Ice Block right before the Cauterize procs. Chrysler wants to get a UN the guy immediately, or even a Shadow Fury. Expecting for the Boomer to just kind of poke out of Ice Block. Does hit him with a stun, getting those dots up and running really early. It's going to be early pressure as Boomer gets himself shields back up and running. The Mage is not out of the fight just yet. Dropping down Runic Power, I think, to mostly force Chrysler to kind of back out. Because if it sticks around, Lonely Boomer would just have extra 40% damage with that thing. So you might as well. Chrysler poking in just to get the dots back in, but he's poking the bear, man. He's poking the bear. 7 minutes into this duel, 13% dampener. In just a few minutes, we're gonna... Oh, Chrysler kind of got himself trapped here in a Ring of Frost. At least he's going to be able to get Mortal Coil onto the Lonely Boomer. Does Fear Path him in a good position away from the pillar. Got that undead racial rolling for that fear. Lonely Boomer is going to get locked out on Chicken for a bit, but he should be okay. It's only dots that he has to deal with, but that Drain Life burnt the shields quite quickly. Reflect and Lonely Boomer getting this Pirate's chuck back to himself into that Cauterize. He's himself shields right now. Otherwise, he's in a really bad spot. Got the images. Maybe those will help. The boss still goes through. The images can't do much about Cauterize, though. And Chrysler trying to get those dots up and rolling onto Lonely Boomer. Or maybe... Looks like he got dots onto Lonely Boomer as well as the pod. I think that's exactly what he did. He got dots on the mage, but also the bot. Fear onto Boomer, but doesn't have the Fear Pathing, and he is now frozen, slow, but all this images in the back. It looks like Lonely Boomer has a second chance. Trying to go for a little bit of CDR, getting the combustion off CD little by little. UA's getting set up. Chrysler still got that rotting, dotting pressure, and Lonely just bails out of that to a whole another zip code, just going for a bit of a reset. Perfect opportunity for him to get some mage foot up and running too. Chrysler walking away from his gateway, actually, as I'm saying that, he's reestablishing a new gateway. Ring of Frost available as Chrysler go the long way. Looks like he's still going to get the dots all the time available for Lonely Boomer. Chrysler can't really do anything about it all the time, just has to wait it out. It's going to still put pressure with Soul Rod onto Lonely Boomer either way. Big Drain Life might be able to drain through those shields. It looks like that Drain Life drain through his shields. The dots are actually wrecking his health bar. The more damage he takes to his health bar, the more likely he is to lose his duel. And right now, this is a perfect opportunity for Chrysler just rotting the guy down. Poly coming in for Lonely, but he does get interrupted on the Poly. Do the shields come back right now, or does he just melt? And that's going to be another reset of this dots. Chrysler just taking them out little by little, letting the dots do work. Kata up next as a balanced druid of the Kirin variety. Get those dots, and Chrysler exchanging some dots of his own. It's going to be a bit of a dot game for the both of them. Except I feel like Kata has more of a guaranteed burst, but that Drain Life is huge. Huge Drain Life. Kata had to chill behind the pillar, catch a couple of those regrowths as he gets off that affinity. I think he is going to have to go for Eclipses. I think he's going to have to go for Eclipses and get some damage onto Chrysler, like burn him down little by little. Maybe overtime for CDs. Actually, Kata is Kyrian, so I don't think he really needs that. He just needs a little bit of Astral Power. The Kyrian Burst, a couple Star Surges, a bunch of Instacasts. As you can see, those Star Surges did do quite a number. If Chrysler isn't careful to get a Reflector wall a little early, you're just going to end up melting to the boomy dots. He doesn't really have a lot of ways to self-heal himself except with Drain Life and Mortal Coil. But he got to use this aggressively. As you can see, Ozakata does have one more advantage. He has the range increase. Chrysler's casts are about 45-yard range. Kata has Chrysler's 40. Cat is 45. So he has that 5 extra yards. If he's able to use this massive arena, you know, outside of playing around pillars, might be able to get some freebie range of the Kaiser, especially as Kaiser going back to his pillar to reposition. Nice intro by Kata. Did force a trinket though, and that was a Barkskin getting used. But Kata is able to at least dip it to stealth. Might be able to go for a big go onto Kaiser. Does go for a bash. Big combustion. Not convoke. Celestial alignment coming out. Wait, he turned our attention around. Hit a blip in the face. Didn't mean to do that, I don't think. And Kaiser looks like he's going to bail out of there. Big Star Surge they hit it, and the Kyrian damage for Kata isn't really available anymore. But still, the damage is done, and Kaiser really took a big beating. Was able to at least get some dots back into Catalysator, so the Demon Armor should be able to heal him up over time. We are at 11 minutes, boys, with over 30% dampener at this point. Closer to 40%. Drain life with that Mortal Coil does allow Kaiser a little bit of recovery, but these Star Surges are just wrecking him. The dots too, the Moonfire, the Sunfire, and the falling, the shooting stars, all that is actually making the Demon Armor a lot less effective just because there's just so much dot damage over time. So he can't really recover as much. Hellstone being used right now. Kata looking for a bit of a reset himself. Kata should hopefully have a Hellstone, but also a Kyrian potion available. Going to be a roar into Kaiser. Doesn't see the roar for long. The dots to break him out. And Kata needs to go for another setup. Bash into Kaiser. Does he have anything? Does go for a silence for a moment. And there goes the Kyrian, reflecting those Star Surges back to him, though, which is super unfortunate landing. That fear onto Kata. Dots up and running. Kata under lots of pressure right now. Mortal as the Darkler joins the fight. It's going to be a massive rehealing for Kata, though. Stun around the corner as Ruptures do come out. Actually, maybe not. Maybe those Ruptures were actually... I think those Malefic Raptures were line of sighted slightly. Even though you can see that big bear butt from around the corner, I do think it was technical line of sight either way. Because the hitbox, you can kind of see what the hitbox for Kata is. It is this kind of like yellow orangish circle, and the bear butt kind of sticks out from the back. So it's technically not part of the hitbox, technically. So it's actually just a little unfortunate. Kaiser had so much damage committed. That should have worked, I think. Does have UAs available to set up. Kata does go for a bit of a reheal. 46% dampener now at the 12-minute mark. Drain life does come out for Kaiser. Looks like the Warlock has recovered a lot of health. Did have to use a lot of offensive cooldowns though. Dark Glare as well as Dark Soul not available for a while Kata does have Celestial Alignment coming back very, very soon. Probably a Curing setup as well. If we could just go for some big damage together with some kind of a Eclipse, I think he'll be in a good spot. And he also does get himself a restyle. Can always get the proper dots and Kaiser early up. And also doesn't have to worry about the corruption slows either. Doesn't have to worry about corruption slows at all. We are diving into that 50% dampener, boys. 50% healing reduction from all the heals for Kata. This is going to be quite a lot of pressure for Kaiser. That's also going to make his demon armor not as good. Look at him. His health just kind of melting little by little. Once he got out of combat, he got the health regen coming into him. And the demon armor can supplement together with health regen against those dots, but while those dots are up, I think it just kind of nullifies the demon armor damage. Unless Kaiser has a lot of dots on Kata. Demon armor does do damage based on the damage you do, but also it just continuously keeps giving you the shield anyway. So if you might be able to do some damage as well, get aggressive, get offensive, he might be in an okay spot to maintain himself. But the dots, I mean, in combat, you can see without the health regen, I mean, he's just melting a little by little. Like Kata could just kite him around circles and just let that happen. Technically, Kaiser would be in a bad spot. He does some mortal coils, he does some ways to heal. But if you couldn't touch him at all, big bash by Kata, going in for big celestial alignment, Kyrian setup available and everything trying to roar in there. Gonna be a port for Kaiser, denying any kind of burst for Kata. Needs more Star Surge, there's gonna be reflect available. Doesn't have a way to stop the reflect. Fears coming up for Kaiser. Does still have massive haze bump with Dark Soul. Massive Star Surges back to back. 3 Star Surges has to wall it into another Fear onto Kata. Going for Raptures into Drain Life. As Kata trying to put more pressure with those Star Surges, but out of resources. Shadow Fear around the corner doesn't hit Kata, and Kata in Bear from able to get Frenzied Regen. Kata to Star Surges back to back, dotted up, needs a Mortal Coil, needs a Warlock Hellstone, something to keep him alive, and that's going to be more dot reset by Kata. Does Kaiser just melt here to the dots, trying to get himself a Warlock Hellstone? He needs a Mortal Coil, he needs to Drain Life right now. He needs any one of those things. Mortal Coil into a probably Drain Life. Nope. Doesn't go for a Drain Life. 6% damper. The Star Surge clips him so low. Does get the Drain Life. That's going to be Dark Glare extending all the dots too. As Dark Glare is slowly moseying over towards Kata. Chrysler is just in no position to get any kind of healing, I think, at this point. Does he just melt to the dots? As kind of goes to mess with the dark. I think Chrysler just dies here. Does he? Do the dots do it? Oh, health regen maybe kicked in? Health regen kicked in. He is okay for a bit. He's out of combat. Health regen kicked in. He might be okay. The stars, dude, the random stars just hurt, though. They just hurt at this point. Cat is just going to melt him down. He just needs one star surge. That's over. There we go. And that's exactly what he did. Just one star surge and he was out. Boombara up next as a Hunter Flare onto Catalysator. Does go for a Hunter's Mark while in camo. He did himself a good setup on Takata. What kind of a Covenant is Boombara playing? I haven't seen him use anything. Trying to go for an aim shot? What Covenant are you playing? He's Venthyr. Oh, into a disarm onto Boombara. Can't really go any for damage, for any more damage out of it. Doesn't play double tap either, which is interesting. Big rapid fire, but looks like Kata just slamming down the damage. The dots and the massive beam from the sky just dropping Boombara down. Does have a freezing trap in case Kata runs into it. Kata just repositions to a whole another pillar. Has the pet to attack if he needs some resources for. Boombara trying to see if he walks Catalysator into the freezing trap. Does get to him. And I think Boombara gets himself a reset. Does have some cooldowns rolling. Aim shot coming out. Feign death for a moment. Does, I think, remove all the dots. But that's going to be a Moonfire setup on the Boombara. Does he just die to dots? Unless he has some kind of a heal. Hoping for the health regen. Maybe food. Mage food pops in. Big mage food play right now. Really good for him. Really, really good. Kata just put another star surge. This Boomy right now, dude. This Boomy is just blasting at 71% damage, but he can still kind of heal. That's the crazy part. That's going to be Kaja up next, going for a big old charge versus Kata. Thorns available as he activates his avatar. Disarm, though. Still continue to punch at Kata. Why would you disarm the Boomy? Bash. Kaja does have a trinket. Hasn't used it at all yet. Hasn't even used big damage yet. Stormbolt and Kata. Leap. Doesn't have the damage yet. Hasn't been able to connect at all. Kata is just kiting him around as Kaja just doesn't have any health. Fear, and I think Kaja just dies to the dots. Parry available. Does go for a Warbreaker. End. Over. Kravika up next, though. Is this Boomy going to go for a 1v5? Turning it around on everybody? At this high dampening, all those dots are just killer. Kravika tried to heal. He actually can't even heal through the damage. He just can't heal through those dots anymore. Shadowman trying to do something. His health barely moving. Kata can literally just dot somebody and just stay in cell the whole time. Get him super low. Star Search. Gone. Of course, he's probably going to have to poke out from time to time. Kata just to manage his defenses, and I think he's going to be okay, at least until Obliv comes around. And that's a fire mage right there. Roll into Kravika. It's going to be a trinket by the Shadow Priest. Goes for a stun into Kata. As Kata goes in for a Barset, Kravika getting Void Eruption. Mind gets full of bash out of Kata. Trying to get some damage of his own as the dots do get extended. Exchange of dots does happen. The Frenzy Regen coming out for Kata. And he recovers quite a lot with the 80% dampening. That's quite a lot of health recovery. Kravika tried to heal up. Not working. Not happening at all. Looks like regrows for Kata are just stronger than what Kravika possesses. His health is just trying to heal. And as soon as he gets a bit of a health up, he just goes back down to the dots. As soon as the ticks come in, it's over. And these shooting stars are just taking good chunks of his health out. I want to say like 132 of his health just gone with every single one of those. And Kata's just being sneaky about it, dude. He's just popping his stealth, letting the dots work. He's the Warlock now. He is literally the Warlock now. I can't believe it. Kravika does try to get himself some heals. These stars, dude. Kata is just casting wishes, man. He's like, I wish to be a number one. I wish to go for a 1v4. Get some 1v4. I wish to go for 1v5. More stars. The stars are just giving him all the wishes. There goes the sports for Kravika. He's going to get some healing out of it, but not a lot. And the dots come out. Oh my god. The disperse healing is just not as good anymore. He's just going to melt to the dots. But Kata can literally sneak up in stealth and just start surge him out. He literally just the sneakiest guy ever. Kravika at least going for some food. Stops the food. Shadow Crash. Oh my god. Can Kata go do that with Obliv? I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I don't think Obliv is going to let him do that at all. I don't think Obliv is going to allow that to happen. Obliv coming into this duel with 90% dampening. His shield's barely gonna do much. Kata just making sure to get dots in there. Obliv running in. Breath missing. Also, Root missing. Kata just cutting him around circles. Kata and Obliv both need to do some damage. Tricky coming out for Obliv out of that batch. Does have himself alter time. And he's going to use that all the time to at least regenerate a lot of health back. Kata didn't commit a lot of damage. Obliv getting silenced though while under the solar beam. Big Starches is coming out for Kata. Iceman comes in for Obliv as he gets the images onto Kata. And Kata goes into bear form. Big roar goes for a bit of a reset. Obliv going for a first aid. I don't know if Kata can get him dotted up or anything. Maybe Kata might have to go for a bit of a re-stealth. And the re-stealth he gets. Crazy. Crazy. Obliv trying to get himself a little bit of food. Kata making sure he gets those dots at a 45 range where Obliv can barely hit him. Does burn a blink just to get closer to the boomkin though. There's going to be some images attacking Kata. Obliv did have big combustion blown here. The dots are melting through his shields. Big roar as Obliv's shields do dissipate. It's going to go, look at those shields. They do barely anything. Kata just needs to dot him up and survive long enough. And Obliv is just going to have so much health of his health bar just burned through. Does have cauterize though. That is going to give him guaranteed 50% health. Kata goes in for silence. Obliv does have alter time. And is going to alter time. Not a lot of health really recovery back out of it. No. Oh no. Breath onto Kata. He triggers out of it. Obliv does have cauterize coming out very soon. Cauterize giving him a little bit of health. Trying to go for Radiant Spark. Kata just needs to survive this long enough. Does go for a roar. Obliv does not get the proper setup, but the does take him out. It looks like Kata does go for a 1v5. Come back as a boomkin. Oh my goodness. That was absolutely fantastic. Just the dots all day with Star Certus, dude. He cheesed it. He cheesed those duels, but you know what? He won. He cheesed those duels, but he won them. In the end, if you win, what does that matter? You're the winner, right? In the end, you're the winner. All right, let's just get another one up and running, yeah? So who's up next? It was now Lord versus Proxy. We got to get Sparta versus Shadow or Cat. Who's got a group, boys? Let me know, and I'll get you up and running. I don't know if Sparta has a group. Shadow looks like he has a group. We haven't seen Katchkin today. Oh, no, not Katchkin. Kragar. We've seen our boy Cat. A beautiful, beautiful boy. Mid shorter CCs and less pillars. Needs shorter CC and less pillars. I think we're pretty bursty as it is. Same group with last of the night. Looks like Shadow, Storm, and Cat are the only ones available. So I guess I can do Shadow and Katchkin again. Because there's not really a lot of groups. Sparta was here, but Sparta, I think his group maybe disappeared or fell apart. Either way, I guess we'll do Katchikan versus Shadow. We're getting some long duels today, boys. Long duels for the day. Let me get Cat in here. That balance sucks. What? He won though. Hello? Do you tell that to all the other people that beat you in arena? Like, yo, you won? Yeah, you suck, bro. But I won. What? Hello? I thought he played pretty well. I wouldn't grieve and grief. I thought he played really well. I'm watching these. They're super fun. Sometimes they're very long. Sometimes they're really short. Fantastic, those damn pillars. Oh, guys, come on. The game is literally balanced around having pillars. The game is literally balanced around having pillars. If it was literally 0 pillars, only like 3 specs in the game would dominate duels all the time. Wait, is that what you really want to see? Is that what you really want to see? Just 3 specs with no pillars? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. If you twin 1 or 2, LMAO, are you twin 1 or twin 2? I like to think of myself as twin 1, but I'll take twin 2. Doesn't really matter. Buff anyway, they should nerf monks. What? Monks? Really? It's fun to watch unless Russian hackers are involved. Yo, Peter Pan just fly hacking. I love that. That's hilarious, dude. Them Russians. They're either drinking or hacking. Either one. Or yelling in CSGO. Can you believe people still play CSGO? It's been so long, dude. Switch. We got ourselves Team 2 with Sanitized Demonology. I think it's still Demonology. Yep. We got ourselves Mufasa as a Pharaoh. We got ourselves Lexagor as a... Looks like a Frost Mage, but is fire. I would love to see some Frost Mage in the duels. We got ourselves Sif as a Frosty and Rage. I'm going to call it Rage. It's probably Rage, but I like Rage. There's an A and an E in there. Katchika looks like he's going to be first up on Team 1. On his team, we got ourselves Archeorc, we got Purple Haze, we got ourselves, or Pure Haze, we got ourselves Unstoppable, as well as Omega, with Katchika getting hit with a Chain of Ice immediately by Safe. Safe Guire? I'm going to call you Safe. Like a bank safe. I'm gonna call it safe. That's close enough as it gets. A save going in for some damage. Big obliterates coming out. The baby arm coming in as well. With the disarm for Kachika, denying a lot of the burst for safe. Does he go for the big dragon strike? Looks like either miss it or doesn't run the legendary where he has extra stun on that thing. Reflect available for Kachika in case any frosty damage coming out for safe. As is getting safe, low enough where the condemns come out. Kachika actually trinketing out of a root by the looks of it. Maybe it was a stun, but it looked like a root. That's going to be a big leap out of the save as he goes for death back, but looks like back with death isn't going to let him get out of this one scot-free as Kachika goes in for massive condemns as a Fury Warrior. It looks like Sanitize is going to be next, at least giving him a bit of an honor duel. At least he's allowed to set up all these gates and all that stuff. And Kachika's kind of having a bit of a waddle, just waiting out for the Warlock as he does go for the pets himself. At least he was able to be given an opportunity to get himself a setup. Looks like maybe it's going to be a big setup by Sanitize. Mortal onto Kachika. Did not have a reflective available for that one. And looks like he's just trying to get himself a little bit of a reset behind the pillar. Has all those pets to get Bloodthirst from, so he should be able to recover and keep himself quite healthy back here. The Fury Warrior self heals are quite good. Actually, even getting the pets low enough, we might be able to condemn him. Could go for an execute phase on those pets too. Big condemns coming out for Cat. Tyrant coming in. Does interrupt the Tyrant as Kachika goes in for a little bit more damage while Recklessness is up. Sanitize trying to make a fear happen. It's going to be Zerker Rage. War Stomp coming in. Denying Sanitize the pet yet again into a fear right after. Yet again, denying Sanitize the pet at all costs. Fear coming in. Kachika try to see if he might be able to get an interrupt on it. Looks like the interrupt did not connect. There's going to be potentially Tyrant here. It looks like Kachika doesn't really have an answer for this Tyrant this time around. Leaping behind the pillar, trying to get himself a little bit of recovery with hell. There goes the rage. All that rage transformed into an ignore. Pain stun around the corner as the Tyrant is getting some freebie hits. Kachika might as well even go and interrupt on the Tyrant. Trying to go for a few condemns here and there. At least reducing the damage those pets do. That's not a bad idea for Kachika to actually go for a little bit of a self-heal behind the pillar. Does port on top of Sanitize, playing the Venthier portal that gives him a shield actually, so that's going to be more survivability every time he uses it on a minute cooldown. Fiorentina Cat doesn't look like he has a Zerker Rage, has a trick coming up very, very soon. As Sanitize is not really looking for damage, just looking for a bit of a drain life, a little bit of that recovery. Drain life from Kachika, stunning him as he goes in for a big old leap. And Kachika needs yet another CC. Either Fear, either Stun, either Mortal Coil. Either way, allow Sanitize to at least get some pets up and running. And Kachika finally face to face with the Warlock. Yet another Fear to the face. Does he interrupt the Fleshcraft? Looks like he doesn't go for an interrupt. He's getting those condemn procs from time to time though, which is pretty good for him. Just standing still, holding his ground against the Warlock. Even cleaving the pets a little bit whenever he can. There goes a bit of that Reckless's burst trick inside of that stun. Into another stun. Does he interrupt that Fear? Zerker Rage, does he have it? He does have it. Might be able to go for big damage. Sanitize actually under a lot of pressure. Big condemns out of Kachika right after. And Mufasa looks like he's going to give him an honorable duel. At least doesn't open on him in stealth. So at least he gives him at least a little bit of that. Thorns available. Kachika trying to doorway of shadows. Does get interrupted on it. Another leap available. Into a Fear, could go for the Doorway of Shadows just to get himself a shield. That gives you quite a massive shield, by the way. On top of Ignore Pain, that's also just shields for shields for shields, dude. That actually gives you so much tankiness. I would play with like Covenant and the Soulbind with the Draven. It's actually quite good. It even gives you like 10% damage reduction when you're 40% health or so. It doesn't help against burst, but I guess consistent damage is quite good. Convoke coming out does land the interrupt. Kachika at least making sure the biggest button for Mufasa is stopped. That is going to be roots back to back. If only he could reflect those roots back to the friendly, he might be able to keep him in combat. It looks like Mufasa almost able to get himself a full reset, staying away from Kachika, waiting for his opportunity, but looks like the whirlwinds do get him out. And Kachika needs himself a big setup with Recklessness very, very soon, hopefully. Might be able to do it. Reflect available for those thorns. Just try to wait it out for Mufasa. Going in for Rallying Cry. Just try to avoid the thorns as best as possible. Looks like it's going to be a route for Mufasa. At least throws a weapon to keep the feral in combat. First aid available for Cat, but the bleeds do break it, and Mufasa should be able to get himself a reset. Almost allowing Kachika to go for a big port. I think it's going to be it to our warrior guy, though. And there goes that Shatter. If somebody sits next to that Shatter, it's not good. It is not good. So if you, as a rogue, it's actually recommended. If you know you're going to be dying and you're in a 2v2 or 3v3, and you feel like you're going to die, save a kidney shot. Kidney, die, boom, they die again. Basically take him down with them. It's like a martyrdom. It's interesting. I wonder if it'll actually work in PvP. Gonna be a Lightning Lasso available for Unsufferable. Big zaps on Mufasa with a Fire Elemental. Did he go for a Meteor on top of Mufasa as well? Should be able to get himself some heals. Mufasa leaping right back in there. Maim onto Unsufferable. Does he have any kind of go? Looks like he's just setting up for some bleeds. But Unsufferable should be able to get himself a little bit of a heal recovery either way. Mufasa popping between cat form, bear form, just trying to take whatever form that is necessary for the combat. Stormkeeper trying to come out for Unsufferable. Does get a bash onto the Shaman. He doesn't see that bash long at all. The Maim tried to stop the cast. He doesn't really get to. Unsufferable, I think, never really ended up getting the cast of the Stormkeeper. There goes the Stormkeeper. Might want to wall this damage. Does at least bear form the damage. Trying to go for a clone. Not gonna happen. Unsufferable still holding on to a kick in case necessary. Trick coming up from Mufasa out of the lasso. Doesn't want to get wrangled up like kitty cat. And he doesn't sit in bear form for that frenzy region for too long at all though. There he goes. Got himself at least a little bit of frenzy region. Gunbow coming out. Does get a knockback, but maybe the big damage coming out for Mufasa. Either way, Unsufferable didn't sit that stun long enough though. And the knockback did help him out. A couple of those Convoke abilities were not bursty abilities versus Unsufferable. So this he was able to survive it by a hair. Does get the interrupt since he's Orc. Doesn't sit stuns long at all though. Just perfect for him. Mufasa setting up for some big bleed, big bite setup sometime soon though. But the Earth Shocks come out. Lightning Lasso. Does Unsufferable have anything to combo off this? Does he have the big lava burst? Looks like he's going for more of a re-heal play himself actually. He's going for more of a reset stat. While available is Mufasa got Blood Berserk available. I was going to call it Bloodthirst for a second. I'm thinking Fury Warrior right now, boys. But he got himself Berserk available. Stun onto Mufasa. Does he have the big setup? One of the zaps came out. Did he have an Earthshock maybe combined with it? It doesn't look like he has the Maelstrom for it just yet. And it looks like Mufasa does catch a lot of recovery. Just going power shifting out of it. Bear form recovery. Big regrowths coming out back to back. We're at the 7-minute duel with the Lightning Lasso onto Mufasa. Doesn't say that Lightning Lasso long, but it looks of it. I don't know if Unsufferable will cancel or not. There goes the Earth Elemental with Unsufferable. Get himself that big Elemental wall recovery. That's going to give him quite a lot of defenses. Wait now until his wall is available. So it should be pretty good for now. At least gets a Flame Shock onto Mufasa as a Cyclone does come out. Just trying to, I guess, CC the pet. Maybe he can go for a resell himself. He might be able to, actually. No, try to. I don't know if he was actually able to. I think he tried. I don't think it actually worked. Unsufferable does go for a big old lasso, but he doesn't really have anything to combo of that. He doesn't have his setup with Primordial Bolt or anything. Did swap out into Fire Elemental with a Meteor into Mufasa either way, though. Try to get himself a Stormkeeper running. Mufasa does have a kick if needed. Try to get himself a big burst available. Mufasa recovering a lot of health while in bear form, though. And the Shaman, I think, needs a Primordial Bolt. He does have lightning in his hands. Catching lightning in the bottle. Does he go for the big zaps here? He does have one bolt. Second bolt available. Lightning Lasso right after. Mufasa does pop a wall right before the lasso happens. Expected. The big burst out of him. Decided to wall it with a little bit of a self-heal rolling too. Wall available for Unsufferable. Mufasa tried to go for a cycle. Does Unsufferable interrupt him? He does have the interrupt. Hasn't used it yet. Hasn't used it yet. And the Pharaoh is kind of low on health, but he is going for a bit of recovery. 8 minutes into this duel, almost 9 minutes, 24% damage. There goes the Primordial Bolt for Unsufferable. Let's go for maybe a big Lava Burst. The Lava Burst did come out. Big procs, and Mufasa is still alive through it all, but the lasso almost securing the kill, but the trinket is going to prevent it. Mufasa still is fighting tooth and nail here. Probably has Barkskin by now. We really don't know what the cooldown of Barkskin. I mean, we know it's 1 minute, but we don't know where it's at for Mufasa because it doesn't really show up in the bars. Because I guess for Feral Druids, it still doesn't count them as having Barkskin, which is interesting. But then again, same thing happens with Thorn sometimes. Big zaps for Unsufferable right now. Trying to get a Lava Burst in that doesn't get the proc as Mufasa dips quite low. Unsufferable is still on the chase. Mufasa doesn't really have a lot left here. Barkskin is out for this lasso. Does he survive it? I think it might be over. Primordial Bolt. Does he have the Lava Burst? He just needs one Instacast Lava Burst and he's good to go. Trying to end it with Frost Shocks. Does he have the Lava Burst? He just needs one Cyclone coming out from Mufasa. Getting knocked back though. Lava Burst comes in and Mufasa does get tagged. As long as Unsufferable attacking the pod, no Mufasa, he's been in a good spot. That thing with a big old Earthshock. Does Mufasa come back? He does not. Unsufferable made sure that doesn't happen at the 10-minute mark. We got Lex. We got us Rege on the other team. Who's up next? Is it Rege? It looks like Lex is looking at Rege. I know it's Rage, but I like Rege. And maybe Lex is going to be up next instead. Looks like it is going to be Lex. Unstoppable just fought a feral druid. He's sitting pretty. Most of his cooldowns are coming back. Trinket available in 30 seconds. But he's fully healthy, man. Fully healthy and pretty prepared. Lex is going to go for a GPI off of this poly. That shield from Maldraxxus is going to absorb a brunt of that damage. But it's still going to be pretty good. Did he GPI into a breath? That's kind of nutty. Just continuing CC chains. Big combustion coming out. Going to be a lasso by Unstoppable while available. Trying to get himself a bit of a self-heal rolling here too. Get interrupted on a cast while is still holding on strong. Still has heals for now. Still somehow surviving. Breath by Lex as he goes in for a hex on the mage. No trinket available for Lex. It's playing relentless. So how much you can really do against that hex? That is going to be full hex. As Unstoppable looking to get some damage back on Lex. Need to make sure he's stripping him off of all those absorbs. Lex does go for a alter time though. Didn't really lose a lot of health, but he didn't regen the shields. Going to be tricked out and interrupt by Unstoppable. Goes in for a big meteor into Lex with a lasso. Blinks out of it immediately. Primordial Bolt is up. Does he have the Lava Burst available? If only he had the Lava Burst procs. That is so much juicy damage into that health bar. And Lex will have a hard time recovering unless he goes in for a full Ice Block. Does go for an Invis. The Fire Ellie is going to keep him out in the open. Doesn't still have Lava Burst. Getting the Flame Shot up and running with a Polymorph right after. The Fire Elemental is still able to blast a little bit of damage. Burning through his shields pretty easily. And Unstoppable does go for a grounding. There goes the Lava Burst, but I don't think Primordial Bolt had any value added to it. Unstoppable, the more of those Lava Bursts he can get, the better. There's going to be a Ring of Frost. Lightning Lasso stops him, and probably going to be an Ice Block. Lex goes for an Ice Block before the Cauterize comes out. Which is not a bad move for mages. Going for Ice Block before Cauterize, because overlapping Cauterize and Ice Block seems like a little much. You might as well separate them too, because they put you at the same health bar anyway. About half his health by the time he's done healing. Actually more, but the dampen is 44%, so you know. Gonna be all the time available for Lex. I guess in case Unstoppable runs after him. So he has all the time trying to regen food. Does he actually go back to... Wait, so when you alter time, you gain health during alter time, do you go back to low health? You do, right? You go back to the same health pool you were before. So I feel like him sitting down for food with alter time is not a good idea. Unless he wants to use the alter time to maybe get behind the shaman. But going for food, you actually will have less health than when you did. Or maybe I guess he could cancel it if he's actually able to get away with it. Ring of Frost coming out. I don't really know if he wants to Ring of Frost. I guess WCC, it is Super DR. Dupai still going to make it play. Light and Lasso Unstoppable does go for a blink. Meteor coming down. Unstoppable is rooted for it. At least he was able to drop down his healing totem. Stun totem around the corner. Walling does damage. Breath Unstoppable. Still under a lot of pressure here. Knocked out on a cast. Might be able to maybe go for some aggressive fire damage. He's looking like he's going to go for a big Lava Burst. Does chuck out some of those into the health bar of Lex. Chunking out his health bar. Quite a bit. Stormkeeper set up right after. Does have all the time. And he knows he's going to all the time. Probably maybe too early. The Shaman still has lightning in his hands. One more lightning bolt. Two more in fact. Breath Unstoppable. Does trick it out of the breath. Lava Burst. Does he land it? I don't know if he needed to trinket it. But he does go for a Lava Burst. Needs to deny any kind of food for Lex, as Lex is going to go for that recovery. Just throw down like a Earthbind Totem. There he goes. There he goes. At least hits him with a slow. It's going to be a lasso. Lex does get out of it. I think normal human racial out of that lasso. Going to be maybe a big setup. Primordial Board setup. Going for the Lava Burst. Polymorph comes out. Didn't have grounding for it. He just needs one more Lava Burst without Primordial, and he'll have a massive, massive setup. Lex trying to catch up on heals. 55% dampener, 14 minutes of this duel. Unstoppable mounting up, trying to make a play here. Fire Elemental joining the fight. Does he go for Meteor? He does, but I think he blinks out of the Meteor. I think he might have gotten actually the range. The belly does get the dot onto Lex, so that isn't the dot. Together with Flame Shock, that's going to be huge. So much damage over time. Does go for big zaps. Lex trying to maximize his alter time, trying to get lower in health before he repositions. Big Earth Shock meets him on the other side immediately. We are almost at a 15-minute mark, almost 60% dampening here. How is Lex still alive? I feel like he's just trying to prolong his life. Might be able to make a play if he lives until combustion. He might still have a play. Ring of Frost, I think only Fire Elemental, right? Yeah, I think he tried to Ring of Frost Fire Ellie. Or maybe he's expecting for Unstoppable to run into it. Trying to get himself as much food time as possible. I don't really know. Lex, unless you could somehow come back out of this I feel like he's just stalling at this point. Radiant Spark, does he have a big setup? Combustion coming in, does he go for the big meteor? Big, huge damage unstoppable. Wait, he actually might have it. Cauterize still available. Unstoppable, super low. Does proc Cauterize out of legs though? Massive damage for legs. Run actually back at Unstoppable. Hits him with a breath. Does he have anything to finish in? And that's going to be all the time, but couldn't alter that fate. Reach is going to be up next. The Warrior charting Unstoppable. Does he go for Pummel? Hasn't used Pummel yet. Could be a Hex. Does go for the Kirin instead. Perfect opportunity for Reach to get a lot of damage up. That is going to be Earth Elemental seeing the fight second time in a row. Does go a wall for Unstoppable. No. Oh, Reflect available for that. Hex does take it out of it. Storm Ball, I think Unstoppable is over. Reach, I think, is going to be able to land that execute. Nothing you can do about it. When you drop low against the Warrior, there's just not much you can do. You're just done scheme. Very similar to a Windwalker Monk. He does at least throw a weapon at Archeorc. I think Archeorc still is able. Oh no, he does get caught out of Invis because of that. And Reach doesn't really have much here. Trying to go, was that an interrupt? He doesn't get an interrupt. All the time available for Archeorc. And it looks like Reach is going to wait it out. Does drop down a banner to deny any kind of CCs for the other team. Does go for the full battle stance. Does he have a big setup? War Breaker to Arhi. Does he get for a leap? Might want to maximize the damage here. Blaze Storm coming out for the breath. Lots of damage. Arhi actually having to go for an Icebox. Shatter comes in right after. Reach might be able to make something here. Chickens out of the Storm Bolt. Reach does have himself a parry available with a Reflect for a second. Archeorc has massive combustion. Lots of damage. Reach just doesn't have much left. Doesn't even have range for a shield. It looks like he does go down, burning up in a massive combustion. Kachiko with some damage here. Unstoppable just coming back, dude. Lots of healing, lots of damage. Unstoppable, are you playing that Urshel legendary as an elemental shaman? I gotta know, you're really tanky. You heal a lot. So I wonder. That's crazy, boys. That was annoying, not gonna lie. 1k shields versus them dots of that damn, by the way, new people. Alright, sounds good, my guy. Look at this little lord in here. It looks like Proxy got 3 new people. Alright, man, I guess we gotta go Lord, and Proxy again. So we got newbies in here. This would be good, man. OP mages, no skill. Really? Oh, man. Come on, dude. I got some mages. They say they have skill. Yeah, you just gotta, you know, Greater Pyro, Combust, Meteor, dead. They got a Fireball, too, I guess. And Polymorph, and Breath, and Root. They're pretty nutty. Big old duels. What's up, Chicago? How you doing, my man? Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for the games last week. I'll see you next time. Sounds good, Cat. Sounds good. Thank you for coming and by. Yeah, I appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Always happy to see you, my man. Lord versus Proxy. Me. Let's go, boys. Next up and running. Lord and Proxy me. Let's see how this duel goes. Versus those two teams. They said they have some new people, so this will be pretty good. Talrion, my man. Durix. Yo, Shadow Senpai. We got some actually new people. Daedra. Oxan, Tarson. Yo, Oxan, Tarson. I don't know you guys, but you guys are new. I like that. I like that. So Twitch, we got some new folks in this duel. We got ourselves Team Chrysler with Tarson as a Feral Druid. I don't think we've seen that name before. Okasan as a Shadow Priest. We got ourselves Daedra coming back as a Demonology Warlock with Chrysler and Obliv, Fire Mage, and Affliction Warlock still sticking to their guns. Versus Team 2, we got a couple new people. Proxy, still the same on that team. Shadow Senpai, though, playing that Shadow Priest. Big damage coming out for him. Talrion is a Night Fae Warrior, kind of giving it a big giveaway that he's Night Fae. We also got ourselves Lonely Boomer, as well as Derek's coming in as a sub-bro. Quite a team. Quite a lot of casters, really. I mean, that's a lot of Warlocks and Mages on each team. That's a lot of casters. There's like 3 melee. Maybe this is where the duels are going. It's going to be caster haven, dude. You know what I mean? Looks like Proxy might be the first one up into the duels as an Arcane Mage. I feel like Proxy hasn't really gotten played too much. So at least he's giving himself an ample opportunity to make something happen here. Looks like Okasan. Okasan? Okasan? I want to call him like Okasan, like it's an anime or something. Gonna be big damage opening up for a Proxy as he goes in for Touch of the Magic. Big damage is the cast on the Okasan. And the Touch of the Magic does slap down a little bit. Didn't commit the most damage during touch, but it is quite a decent burst. It is on a very short cooldown too. So Proxy did commit a lot of cooldowns there from the poly. Does himself massive shields available. Oxan does land a Shadow Fiend onto Proxy. Hoping that Shadow Fiend helps tear through those shields. Oxan just needs to remove all those shields and he'll be good to go. Went for a Void Torrent for a moment, but it looks like he canceled. Didn't want to get interrupted on Shadow. And Proxy does go for shields back to back. I don't know if he's playing for like a big shield build. It looks like Oxan is just gonna go stripping him of all his shields. Why is got it? Gonna get the dot silence and avoid eruption available. Big damage for the Shadow Priest. Mind Games to follow. Proxy taking lots of damage right now. Dropping down to about half his health. Ultra time available. Does that help him though? He needs to use ultra time at the right time. Does get the shields up and running. That's gonna be Oxan dispelling them immediately. He's just being proactive with his shields. He's trying to take him out immediately, so he has some damage into the health bar of Proxy. Proxy going for invis for a second, trying to meet Oxan with a big old arcane blast, but looks like he's gonna have to wait it out until maybe burst of defense available. No shields up, does have shifting power, might be able to get shields back a little quicker. There goes the shields, and Oxan just needs to dispel him yet again. Try to chase after the Archimage, is able to clean through the shields one by one. And Proxy, oh my goodness, big Shadowboard death by Oxan. Just blasted through Proxy, just dealt through his shields very, very easily. A class with dispels and dots. I mean, he's just able to take him out really, really easily. Damn, I didn't realize Shadow Priest was just like a hard counter for mages like that. Shadow Senpai is going to be up next, and Shadow Senpai is number 2. Wait, 2 and 2? Oh, perfect. Both Shadow Priests are number 2 on the keyboard, so it's perfect. Stunned by Oxan. Going to be a trinket by Shadow Senpai with a fear to Oxan. Landing a silence back to Shadow Senpai as he goes in for Void Eruption. Big Mind Blast. And the Mind Games on top of Shadow Senpai. Just, oh, big, getting blasted with a Shadowboard death as an execute at the end. Oxan just dominating right now. And Dampen hasn't even rolled in. Telrion rolling up next as an Arms Warrior, Night Fae playstyle. Oxan doesn't really have a lot of defenses to really deal with. Big Warbreaker coming out. Big Slam comes in for Telrion. Getting Oxan super low. Does go for Vampiric Embrace. Perfect opportunity for you to get a lot of self-heals. Telrion does miss the interrupt there. Super fortunate. Still has plenty of dams back to Oxan. But the Vampiric Embrace does recover a lot of damage for and a lot of health for Oxan. There goes the Void Eruption with a Reflective Elbow for Telrion. Fear quickly onto Oxan as he goes for a bit of a reset. Dots are still ticking up on him. At least he goes for a little bit of Ignore Pain. Oxan fully recovered. Telrion under a lot of pressure. Does he play is that a Leap Lego? Is that what we're going to play right now? Is the Leap Legendary? Because it looks like he leapt twice now. Is that going to be a third leap? Does the Reflect available? Does at least go for a self-heal? It doesn't look like he plays... I was going to say defensive stance. That means he doesn't play Second Wind. I was going to say, does he play Second Wind? Oxan actually super low. Could get interrupted on Shadow. Disperse needs to come out for him. Does go for Reflect. Or does go for Greater Fade. And does get a lot of recovery. Telrion super low in health, stunned up. Trinkets, and that's going to be a leap. Does get himself a shield, but I think the dots might still have him. And there goes the pod. Oxan, if he doesn't take out the pod, Telrion is going to be able to come back into the duel. Big leap was available. Looks like the pod is going to get him back up and rolling. Getting a second chance, man. He does need to go for a nice setup with Oxan. Drop down defensive stance and just blast through him. Does miss the interrupt. That's going to be VTs for free. Does activate Reflect, and Oxan making sure not to reflect the VTs back to himself. Void Eruption coming out versus Telrion. Does go for battle stance with big damage into a Blaze Storm. And that's going to be the Night Fae Covenant knocked down Oxan, interrupting the cast for a second. Standing in the Night Fae does have a chance to knock it down as it does kind of pulsate damage to you, almost like a dot. But the Shadowboard Death does take down Telrion either way. Shadowboard Death taking him out. Super, super unfortunate for the Warrior. Big damage out of Dirks though. Not letting Oxan get any more pressure from here as the Sub-Row comes in with 100% setup Lego. Taking him out with a couple Shadow Strikes and Eviscerates. Oxan actually had a lot of defenses coming back up. Vampiric Embrace, there's also Disperse. Trinket also, but I think maybe Dirks might have interrupted him on Shadow. Just kind of caught him. Next is going to be Tarson, as Oxan actually went through 3 people. Can Dirks and Lonely Boomer come back for the team? Standing on top of the Feral, didn't sap him though. Does he see him? What? He was right on top of the Feral. He must have seen him by now, right? He must have seen him. You're right next to him. Oh, there goes the sap. I was going to say, Cheap Check coming out for Dirks. Check coming out for Tarson. Into a bash of Dirks going in for a big old bite himself. As a Kyrian, that should be a massive, massive bite. Dirks does go for evasion to follow. Tarson popping every defense. There's going to be Thorns on top of it with a blind, but Tarson has a lot of health recovery right now. Lots of health regeneration. Dirks should be able to go for saps and resets. That was a lot of damage out of both Dirks and Tarson. But Dirks hasn't popped the trinket, so he's still in a good spot. If Darson, I mean, if does he have Barskin? If he has Barskin, he might survive this. But that's gonna be lots of damage by Dirks. Cheap shot into some dancing. Big smoke bomb in case, I guess, whoever's gonna be up next. Yeah, his smoke bomb just in case whoever's up next, he might be able to get away scot-free. Next up, though, is gonna be Chrysler from one dot glass into the next. As Dirks was able to deal with them quite easily. Still got the corruption down in the Dirks either way, though. I'm sorry, I'm the wrong people, boys. I'm so sorry. It looks like 5 and 5. How does it end up happening that it's after like first few people come out and they're random numbers, but then the next person comes out and it's perfect same numbers? How does that work? Now, how do they 5 and 5 and then the priest and priest were 2 and 2 when they're fighting each other? That's crazy. RNG, but that's crazy. Sap onto Chrysler, opening up with an opener. Doesn't have dance, but it looks of it. So he actually had to go for a backstab. Chrysler does commit a lot of defenses to just back the hell out of there. Dirk's in a couple dots. That was Shadow Blades for him too. And Chrysler, I believe, did use a human racial for that one to get out of that stun. I think he saw the Shadow Blades and was like, you know what? Nope. Can deal with that. Mortal called him, so Dirks did burn a trinket. Reopen onto Chrysler, and Chrysler might have to wall this. Dirks does have himself the Kieran setup. Does he go for a big eviscerate there? Chrysler does go for a massive reheal. Cloak of Shadow is available. Chrysler under a lot of pressure, lots of stress. Dirks is still catching up on him. Has advantage if necessary. Looks like the rogue does burn advantage, but comes back in there. Lots of crit damage. Chrysler does go for a port. It's going to be Dirk still taking him out either way, though. Vanish and burn. So much damage committed into the Warlock. It looks like Obliv is at least giving Dirks an opportunity to catch a re-stealth. At least he's giving him that kind of an honorable duel here. As Obliv just kind of waiting out for Dirks. And I think Dirks is going to wait until the dots are gone. Man, the commitment on the damage for Dirks' advantage should just keep going. I think Chrysler was thinking, you know what, I might be okay. But because he was so dot heavy, it is tough. Also, I just noticed Chrysler was trying to make Deathbolt work in his duels. That would have been nutty. Maybe he was trying to go for a big one-shot here. Obliv turns around after the cheap shot breath onto Dirks. Did he just trinket for it? I don't think he trinketed that. Jeep eye to Dirks. No way for him to stop it. Does have a blind for Obliv. Does hit him with a blind. There goes the sippy cup. Does he go for the Kieran sippy cup? He might have to. Try to catch this over re-stealth. That's not going to be Nova. That could be a really bad Nova. And Dirks is just waiting, I think, for DRs. Is it going to be DRs? Oh, it doesn't really get the proper opener. At least cheap shot comes out. Looks like Obliv does human racial out of this one with the poly back on the Dirks. It is not DR this time. And there's no way for Dirks to catch a reset. It's a full G-Pie to the face. It's going to be full combustion. Get a shot onto Obliv, trying to make some damage happen. But it's just so many instant casts, and Obliv just is unstoppable during that combustion. So many instants, not much you can really do about it. And Lonely Boomer is going to be up next. At least he's going to give, it looks like he's going to give Obliv a little bit of rondo. Maybe at least a bit of a bow. A nice friendly bow from one mage to another, allowing Obliv to at least reset behind the pillar. And get himself maybe some CDs back up. I think Lonely Boomer and Obliv might both be playing the... Are they both Kyrian? They might both be Kyrian. So it's going to be big setups for the both of them. Going to be an interrupt by Obliv onto Lonely Boomer's burst there. Or Lonely Boomer's CC chain. Looks like that breath did not sit long at all. Going to be ring for the both of them. Lonely Boomer does have the unfortunate angle here. And Obliv does have a better angle with the stairs. Dominated the stair positional. Trying to land a poly. Looks like it's going to be breath out of Obliv. Lonely Boomer taking quite a bit of damage though. You should be worrying about his health. Is playing Shimmer. That is interesting. We haven't seen mages play that in a bit. Big combustion coming out. Lonely Boomer going in for big damage. Obliv trying to turn the damage around back to him. Pyroblasts are just flying. I think he actually stole Lonely Boomer's combustion there for a second. Did he? I think he did. It's kind of funny. Obliv though, actually ahead in health as Lonely Boomer was the one going for the damage there. And that's going to be images. Wait, no, he's not curing his. Nightfate is going to use Shift and Power in order to get himself some resources back, which is good for him. It means he can get shields back up faster, so he might be tanky. Trying to go for Ring of Frost to deny Obliv any kind of zoning, at least from one angle of the boxes. And he does have the advantageous stairs, so he has so many angles to kind of juke away from Obliv. I think it's going to be Meteor by Obliv. So Lonely Boomer eats it. Meteor back to Obliv though. It's up with the breath, but Obliv has all the shields up and running. Only at 32% damage. Those shields are still holding on strong. Lonely Boomer does go for a bit of a shield himself, but Obliv burning through those shields. He doesn't even just steal those shields, he's just burning through them. Lonely try to go for Invis, but as the dots are still burning him, he can't. The shields do help him out, but the dots are still hurting. That's going to be the all the time. He's not really going for a health reset. It looks like he's just... Oh! And Obliv just steals the all the time. Lonely Boomer just says nothing really loud. Missing that breath, so Obliv can actually just walk at him. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Walk out, Fire Blast, Pyro Blast really quickly into a breath right after. Just try to steal whatever shields he has. And Lonely Boomer just might have to steal his shields back one by one. He doesn't look like he'll run Klepto. Interrupt on the Lonely Boomer as he does get behind the pillar, trying again to zone Obliv out with a Ring of Frost, but looks like Obliv just has him on the ropes. Lonely Boomer does have Combustion and Meteor coming back very, very soon. Obliv has Combustion, just using the Meteor, so it really could be a big all-out brawl between the two mages. And Obliv just keeps sneaking in those Pyro Blasts and Fire Blasts in. Lonely Boomer going in for an Ice Block, and Obliv going in for Fireballs. I don't think it actually does anything for him, does it? Maybe it helps him build up like 100% crit with a Fireball next to him. Palmer trying to come out, getting interrupted. Fire Blast, Pyro doing work, and that's going to be Combustion. Cauterites coming out for Lonely Boomer. Not much he can really do. I think Obliv just has him. The shields do a hold strong. Obliv does take the shields. The Pyro Blast are after Combustion as he's trying to make the best of that Combustion work. The seed comes in, unless Obliv kind of just stops to smell the roses. Or smell the seeds. And he's going to have him, and Obliv takes him out at the very end. That was quite a lot of you guys getting some duels in here. With Oxon doing quite a lot of damage as a Shadow Priest. Very well played. Big deaths, man, on that guy. Huge deaths. That's pretty good, man. Yo, mastered me? Yo, dude, Obliv is really good at Mage. He's really good at Fire Mage. This guy gets Gladiator, gets Mounts. But he's never too good to hang out with the boys, you know. Pops into the duel, hanging out with the rest of us. I appreciate it, man. That's a real alphabet quite well. I do too. I was born in Russia. I was born in Russia, so I kind of speak Russian. I do forget it quite a bit though. Like I feel like I speak on a 5th grade level, to be honest. You know what I mean? What's up, Quinn? How you doing, my man? I got a message. Yo, Luke at my real ID, dude. Luke is like, yo, can I get in for those 1v1s, bro? Can I get in for 5v5 right now? I'm like, yo, Luke, my man. The only reason I can even chat with you right... Oh, what the hell? Huh? Did these things just get feared? With what? Huh? These animal worms got feared. I've never seen them get feared like that before. What hit him with a fear? Was it like old Blanche or something? Because I know old Blanche makes certain things go into fear. What is that? Murgle, feared. What? I never knew these guys move. That's so weird. I did not know they could be feared. How do you fear them? It probably uses like a Murloc toy because it literally says Murgle. Like the Murloc sounds. That's so weird. Is it maybe a pet? Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, I didn't know either, man. I did not know either. What? There they go again. Murgle feared. There has to be like somebody with a pet or something, right? It has to be this guy, maybe? Achilles? Or maybe it's this dude? Oh, he has this guy. He has Gromlock. Oh, does he fear him? Gromlock? Hold on, let's watch. He's probably gonna cast a fear or something, right? Watch him back here. Watch him down here. You see him? You see these guys run. There he does fear him. What the hell? I didn't know you could do that. That's like a Warlords of Draenor version of a Murloc. Gromlock. So he literally just sets out a random fear. Is it like part of his moveset? Show pet and journal. Maybe it's like part of his moveset. No matter how much he screams, you never give him demon blood. Is that just like a thing with him? There's like a pet interaction with things? Huh. That's kind of cool. That was so weird though. The more you know, right? The more you know, boys. Alrighty, man. Thank you guys so much for coming by. I think we're going to call it here. This is the duels for the EU. I don't mix up the regions. I know what I'm talking about. I just say the wrong thing because I'm tired. That's all I do, boys. Anyway, boys, thank you so much for coming by. Yeah, he's fearing him. It's crazy. I didn't know there was a thing. But, boys, thank you so much for coming by, man. That was a lot of fun duels, dude. We had some really good slappers. We had a lot of long duels today, but we had some really good duels. I'm going to be editing them. I guess I'll edit one for tomorrow. and I'll be editing a majority of these Sundays, so that'll be a lot of fun, man. Thank you guys so much for coming by. Appreciate all of you for joining. I'll watch all you deals, study, watch Zarya, Mitch, etc. We'll take this as my full-time job. Yo, dude. Yeah, man, the more you commit into your character, the better you will be, right? I think it's always cool to like commit into a character like that. But yeah, have a good one. Take it easy. Have a good day. Yo, boys, thank you so much for coming by. I really do appreciate it. You guys are beauties. Thanks so much for hanging out with the boy. And I'll see all of you guys tomorrow, hopefully with some coffee in my blood. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more duels on the 5V5 1v1 over on the NA tomorrow. Fridays are EU, Saturdays are NA as per usual, boys. Alrighty? Alrighty, boys. Peace.